Why, hello everybody, and welcome to tonight's WWE Raw Watch Party. This time with a little extra twist because we usually just do these shows on Twitch. You'll forgive the Twitch layover there. We usually just do these shows on Twitch, but with so many people seemingly deciding we're not going to cover Raw anymore, I thought we'd share some of the ridiculousness that we always do over on Twitch, over here on YouTube, and even a little bit on Periscope as well, just for one night only, maybe for a little bit in the future. But right now, we are currently sitting on 197 followers on Twitch. Meanwhile, here on YouTube, we're at about the 560 mark, which is a little bit more. What we like to do basically is we'll sit and watch Raw, which starts in about 4 minutes by my time. And when things are good, things are good. We want to give credit where credit is due in that particular regard. But when things are bad, we also have to give just a little tiny bit of shame. Just a bit of shame. So we make ridiculous jokes. We make ridiculous things happen. I have a bit involving a jigsaw. But at the very least, what we have is company. And we've been a long time without company to watch wrestling. Used to be, first time I did a big watch party was the Royal Rumble. Usually for the Royal Rumble, I'll have a couple of friends by and we will drink a shot every time someone is eliminated. There are 2 Royal Rumbles. I usually don't remember the second one. If you've seen me tweeting during the second Royal Rumble, during a Royal Rumble event, I don't make much sense. I really don't. Because usually by that point, I'm quite drunk. But I haven't been able to watch wrestling with friends for a very long time. Not friends physically, anyway. So you have to find something else. You have to find some other way of finding entertainment. And what we found was Twitch. What we found was YouTube. What we found was Periscope. And there we found community. There we find family. There we find people who are not just willing to drop in and say hi, but are also more than happy to make the ridiculous jokes that we love so much. And my God, do I love a good few ridiculous jokes. Now, earlier on today, about 3 hours ago, we did do what has become our usual news show over on Twitch. That's a 10 p.m. UK time and that is 5 p.m. EST time show. We call it spoiler warning because, it's funny. In the meantime, of course, we also do shows for gaming on Twitch, but that has to be Twitch only because of the way we have things laid out. This is at least for now, but we'll see how often this actually happens. I know a lot of the people who regularly watch these watch parties will only be watching on Twitch, but there are advantages, of course, to having watch parties on multiple channels. Basically means you can make the same jokes to more people. Or at least hopefully. You never can tell. You never can tell. We are still, I believe, I'll actually check formally, but from what best I can tell, we are still waiting on a Raw preview on WWE.com. Last I checked was about 2 hours ago. We finally have a preview. Finally, an actual preview. They're so rare. So we'll have a quick check and see if they've formally confirmed anything other than what we already expected in the wonderful world of WWE Raw. So we know about the WWE contract signing for the WWE Championship. That'll be Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley. And my expectation here is that we are going to be working towards formalizing the actual Hell in a Cell match, not as in the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell. I strongly suspect this will be going to an actual physical Hell in a Cell match. It just makes the most sense to me, personally, that these two will be stepping into Hell in a Cell. Also likely to be stepping into Hell in a Cell as one, as it were. For me, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair. They are logically the right choice to step into Hell in a Cell. Raw is just starting now. I have just enough time to tell people we're also going to be seeing Alexa Bliss welcoming Shayna Baszler to Alexa's Playground. Shayna Baszler, probably the most real combat athlete in the WWE right now in the absence of Brock Lesnar, is going to be fighting a doll. She's going to be fighting a doll. That's where we are. Shayna Baszler fights dolls. That's where we are. And finally, a 5-team battle royal. The New Day, RK Bro, the Viking Raiders, the Lucha House Party, and Mace and T-Bar will be battling it out. And it looks like that is how we will be opening the show as Randy Orton is making his entrance. Apologies for how I pronounced Randy Orton there. It was a strange one, wasn't it? If it's your first time watching a watch party, rather by Periscope, on Twitch, or indeed on YouTube, Jesus Christ, everyone but Randy Orton has got the Jobbers entrance. Literally, the New Day got a Jobbers entrance. What's the world coming to when the New Day get a Jobbers entrance? Matt Riddle is trying to slowly come down the ramp on a scooter. It's not working. If it's your first time watching one of these watch parties, we do them every week over on twitch.tv/Tom Colohue. So please do check those out. And I look forward to seeing you all there after this, because at the moment, you are very much joining us for WWE Raw. Going forward, we also do SmackDown watch parties, and this weekend we will be covering In Your House. That is NXT In Your House, headlined by a 5-pack challenge, I believe they call it nowadays. It's hard to tell. A fifth, which basically, the end result of which will be potentially a new NXT champion. AJ Styles and Omos are making their entrance to scout the competition. AJ Styles had a shave. Bless him. He's all stubbly now. So the champions are coming down to watch the proceedings. I respect that. They should. That's exactly what I would expect. My actual display of Raw, just over here. A state of the tag team division address. Interesting. WWE are piping in crowd noises for being back on the road. Funny old world. One of the big advantages of multi-streaming is that whatever you guys comment, I can click on and have appear at the bottom of the screen. Helps me react to it. The Twitch shows that we have are usually user-generated in that your input really does make the show. But for the moment, I don't want to talk over AJ Styles too much. Xavier Woods has a microphone, hasn't used it yet. They don't seem happy with AJ and his introduction. They're doing the hip thrust, so they're clearly happy. They're just not happy with AJ. Hello, Jermaine. Welcome to the show, mate. Glad to see you. We're doing a rare watch along here on YouTube. Glad you could check us out. We usually only do them on Twitch, but for one time only, we're doing both. Welcome to the show, mate. Styles is introducing all of the tag teams one by one. So we're introducing Ascension. Mason T-Bar, I should say. Retribution? Retroscension? Retroscension. This is how we're finding out the Grand Metalik is hurt and will not feature in the match. Not the easiest way to find out. But I'm glad they remembered to actually tell us. It's always nice. Lindsay Dorado doesn't stand much of a chance, bless him. Bailey is here. Bailey says, unfortunately, if they noticed all the women's tag teams would be done. If they introduced all the women's tag teams, would be done by now. We would. There's 2 left, one of which are the champions who would be doing the introducing. There are no women's tag teams anymore. They've all either been released or they never existed in the first place. I tell you, of all the releases, it's definitely disproportionately affecting the women. There's been as many women released as men, and there were less women to begin with. AJ Styles' introduction for RK Bro is actually really on the money. That man may know his drugs. Orton gets a proper introduction. The legend killer gimmick never gets boring. It really doesn't. Riddle is literally wearing stars and stripes. Never really stopped and thought about that. AJ covering a flub very nicely there. I like it. No mention of the goatee, which is shameful. He should be doing better. Almost cutting a promo. Okay, the starter promo. Bit of a handsome Rusev promo. Phenomenal. You're phenomenal. New Day cutting in now. Nubis here says, hello, Mr. Colohue. Seems like tonight is off to a good start. Hopefully so. I'm happy with the idea of this match starting. I like that it's a battle royal instead of a gauntlet. We've seen the gauntlets a few times recently. Still not a register. You don't have to register. They're literally the champions. And Chelsea, welcome to the show as well. A rare one where you've got my whole face. My whole face. Imagine being able to see my whole face. This is a full-on promo off at this point. Randy Orton making his self known. Oh, Matt Riddle making himself known now. Matt Riddle is wearing 2 t-shirts. Randy does not wear shirts, that's true. For a long time, Randy Orton wore a jacket and his pants. Okay, Matt Riddle's doing that thing where he's not showing up. At some point, there's going to be a Riddle versus the Fiend feud. I don't want it. It's not going to be good, but it's definitely going to happen. Yes, fingers on lips. Shut your mouth. I can't help but feel this is exactly how Randy Orton is as a dad. Like, this is full-on parent Randy. The Miz is making an entrance. Is John Morrison going to join this particular party? The Miz is in a wheelchair, so he's definitely not getting involved, but we knew that. John Morrison's dressed to wrestle. We have an extra tag team involved. Chelsea said this is the best opening to Raw for a very long time. I actually agree. This has been fun so far. Noob says, I know the reason why Asuka's not on Raw last week, as I remember that she said in a YouTube channel at the end of March, Asuka is going to get dental surgery. Well, that may be it then. Jermaine Presley says, I think WWE are going to remake the women's tag team division with a lot of NXT call-ups, like pairing up Io Vasquez and bring back legends like the Bella Twins. I very much see that as well. If you watch the news show earlier that we did on Twitch, spoiler warning is what I've been calling it. It's on video on demand. I did talk about the most likely call-ups. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart are in there. And Chelsea says, why is Fiend versus Riddle definitely happening? Because we're in the age of the WWE, and 100% they're not turning down free money. And that's free money. Johnny Drip is indeed dropping in to compete. I don't blame them. This is clever and at least a little bit interesting. Also, The Miz has a very good suit on. I'm not the biggest fan of the childish antics of Miz and Morrison, but that was funny. Waiting for the slow-mo and then starting to roll down, that was funny. Miz is in the wheelchair because he's torn his ACL. So walking, quite painful. Quite painful. There's going to be quite a bit of rehab before he gets back onto his feet, as it were. But the day will come. Already an RKO on Xavier's. Already an RKO on Kofi Kingston. This is a very good start to Raw. Randy Orton and Matt Riddle are back to back. And by the time we get back, we'll have a full-on match going. That was a really good start. Chelsea also saying that was brilliant about The Miz rolling down the ramp in slow motion. I shouldn't like it. And I know I shouldn't like it. But I like it. It's one of those. There's no reason for me to enjoy that. But it's much like Corbin versus Nakamura. I enjoy watching the ridiculous sometimes. Sometimes you just have to let things go and just enjoy the ridiculousness of the whole situation, because you know there is so much ridiculousness in the whole situation. You just know. You just know. We are on our first commercial break. For anyone who doesn't know, which would be a surprise to me considering you're on Tom Colohue channels, I'm Tom Colohue. I am currently hosting a watch party on Twitch, on YouTube, and indeed on Periscope, which is good old-fashioned Twitter, which I'll be retweeting over the course of the event. A lot of people at the minute seem to have started turning off Raw. They seem not to be particularly invested in Raw. I'm still going to be watching Raw. I'm still going to be here presenting the show and trying to make it as fun as possible. There's a few ways over on Twitch in which we try and make things fun, a few channel point options, which we do over there. And ultimately, even though this is not going to be a regular occurrence on YouTube, we do live watch parties for Raw and for SmackDown every single week on Twitch. Also on Twitch at the moment, we are currently 3 followers away from hitting our 200 follower goal. That is just 3 people. If you've not followed over on Twitch, now would be a great time to pop on over to twitch.tv/Tom Colohue and follow there. Michael is here. Michael says, hey guys, I'm not even going to watch. I'm just here for the party. That's been a long-term thing for you, hasn't it? It's been a long-term occurrence, as it were. And honestly, so far, it's been okay. So far, it's been okay. Jermaine says, don't have Twitch. Fair enough, Jermaine. If you don't have it, if you're not interested in signing up, that's absolutely fine. Just be aware, I'm not going to be doing that many videos here on YouTube. Says, if you can mention NXT calls for the female division, I'll be thankful for it. Most likely ones are Io Shirai, for obvious reasons, Shotzi Blackheart, and Ember Moon. Those seem to be the most likely ones based on John Laurinaitis and Bruce Pritchard going down and checking out the people available there. Those aren't the most shocking ones. There's certainly one which I heard about, which was a bit of a surprise, but what can I say? Vince is a big fan. Apologies. My arm is giving me a bit of trouble today. I had my first jab, the Pfizer jab, and my arm's just a little bit numb, and I can't lift it too high. It's getting worse. It's getting worse. When I ignore it, it all works out pretty well. But I can't ignore it when I'm moving it about a bit. Michael says, for Raw, yes. That's fair. SmackDown, still very entertaining, still well worth it. Bailey says, Miz could milk this wheelchair act into the full crowd era, and well past his injury, he understands how to generate heat. He does. He absolutely does. The Miz is the perfect example of a classic heel who knows how to make people hate him. The Miz is an extremely valuable player in the WWE at large. And Jermaine says, I still watch Raw, NXT, NXT UK, and SmackDown. I definitely do not watch NXT UK. Definitely not. But other than that, we still do watch parties for all of those. You don't necessarily have to have Twitch to pop over as well. You can just pop over as a lurker. So it's up to you whether or not you want to get involved and join in. The addition of John Morrison should be really useful here. I especially like that because everyone else already has feuds in place. He's just been able to sort of fade into the background. The New Day and Lince Dorado seem to be working together against RK Bro, which is nice to see. Meanwhile, Viking Raiders and Ascension and Mason T-Bar are working together. Morrison tries to eliminate Dorado, but he skins the cat and gets back in. Morrison on the outside? No, he's got in as well. Good start. I don't want everyone to immediately just get eliminated. That's never a good thing. Morrison tries again, nearly goes again. Entertaining start. Action-packed. Alyssa Stansburn9 says, do you agree with me? Seth Rollins' character is awful. Don't like Drip God. Think star power all needs. Well, with me, I don't think Seth Rollins is awful. I genuinely don't. I find his act at the moment quite entertaining, though I don't think as entertaining as it has been in the past. I think there are limits to what you can do. I look forward to seeing his suit every week because I know it's going to be terrible. And he's a wonderfully detestable character. Sometimes you need those sort of detestable characters. His star power for me is maintained, but he's just not in the main event scene. There will be a time he comes back into that. Oh, good. Lovely toss there from T-Bar. Is it Mace? Is it T-Bag? Is it Flapjack? One of them. Lovely. Jermaine says, I heard maybe Piper Niven being paired with Eva Marie or with Mercedes Martinez. I'd imagine you heard that from WrestleVote, who reported it earlier today. We do source where we hear our rumors from here, so please do remember to say where you've heard it from as well, just in case it's not something I've personally heard and I have to basically go off how reliable the source is before saying whether or not I believe it's true. So I think Piper Niven would be a very good shout. Mercedes Martinez didn't want to be on the main roster for Retribution, so it'd be interesting to see if she's returned to the main roster with a new character for working with Eva Marie. I don't think Mercedes and Eva Marie really work very well together personally. Retribution are looking very good right now, which usually means they're going to be the next ones eliminated. I call it the Kane effect. Whenever Kane got into an elimination chamber match, he beat up everyone repeatedly and then immediately got eliminated. The Viking Raiders are squaring up, and everyone else is just getting involved against Retribution. The Viking Raiders will be very good when they finally line up against AJ Styles and Amos, and that moment is definitely coming. Chelsea says, will we see Eva tonight? According to Andrew Zarian, we will not. According to Andrew Zarian, we will not. She's apparently booked for the 21st of June, so 2 weeks, as in the first show after Hell in a Cell. Usually the WWE do wait until after pay-per-views to have big debuts like that, and we are straight away back into a commercial break. But Retribution are out, so there's been eliminations. The match so far, moderately good. Lots happening. Michael says, was it Ember and Finn's decision to go back to NXT? Thought that was the case and figured they would stay there. It was their decision to request to go back to NXT. Technically, it was up to Finn Balor, it was up to Bruce Pritchard, it was up to Vince as to whether that actually happened. I've been very up to date with what's been going on with Finn Balor. I was reporting on some of his dissatisfaction before he left for a while at SummerSlam. I reported on the fact that people were requesting to go back to NXT and that Vince and Triple H had a short list of people and that he was involved in that. And then just after he left, after taking on The Fiend in The Fiend's debut, I reported that there was how to describe it? That they were changing his character. They were reimagining Finn Balor. He then appeared back in NXT and became a heel and the prince, as it were, all over again. So I think that's one of those where I've been very up to date on it. Finn did want to go back to NXT. He did request it and essentially got his way. Ember Moon, I believe she asked for it, but I don't have specific details on that. Chelsea says, why is the Hell in a Cell red these days? It looks like a toy. The idea for the change to red was to try and make up for the fact that there isn't blood anymore, and it's the color of danger. That's genuinely why. Alyssa says, Tribal Chief character is so much better than the Messiah. Night and day difference, don't care for him much. I can tell you're not a big fan of Seth Rollins, and that's fair enough. I don't think we really need to compare Reigns and Rollins, though. They've both given a lot to the company, and they're both legitimized main eventers and multi-time world champions. So while I think the Messiah character is gone, I think the Messiah character is very much gone, and Seth is currently evolving his character for something new. I do think he's doing a very good bit of work in this program with Cesaro. Cesaro is definitely benefiting hugely from working with someone with as much credibility as Seth Rollins. The little things like that can be a big help for someone like Seth. And of course, for someone like Cesaro, Cesaro only ever needed a platform. He needed someone to have faith in him and just to give him that platform and say, you are our guy and we will back you. You've just got to go for it. Eventually, someone decided that they were going to be that person. And it seems to me the person who made that decision was Seth Rollins. He seems to be the one much behind the pushing. No worries, Jermaine. It's important with our shows to source the information so that we know where we're getting the information we're getting it from. It's just good practice that we've gotten into. But if you're not there for the Twitch shows, you wouldn't know this because it's there. I've been really pushing it. So I wouldn't worry too much, but I just felt I need to let you know regardless. We are back in action. Has anyone been eliminated in the time? Has anyone been eliminated? No. Same teams are there. New Day, RK Bro, Viking Raiders. RK Bro seemed like the obvious choice, and still kind of do. But it depends. If they now have the chance to continue their feud with New Day, I wouldn't be too surprised to see them do that. But they could still have the feud of New Day, have the match next week, formally end it there, and then go into the pay-per-view against Omos and AJ Styles. Chelsea said the new commentator is the best on the panel. Because I'm talking a lot during these shows, I don't really hear much of him. But every now and then, I just catch a little bit of conversation, and I think to myself, it's damn good that. It's damn good. So I do agree that he's very good, but I do still miss Tom Phillips. The Viking Raiders are still... Oh, Matt Riddle's gone. Matt Riddle is gone, which means Randy Orton can still win, but he's only got one person. Well, he's only on his own now, is basically what I'm trying to say. The Viking Raiders were looking very strong, but at the moment they're taking a bit of a beating, which is good. It's a very even match. And in a match like this with so many moving parts, you can't fully trust it. You have to have that moment. New Day eliminated. Sorry, not New Day. Xavier Woods eliminated. So we have both Viking Raiders. We have Kofi Kingston, and we have Randy Orton. Randy's taking a moment just in the corner. Oof, nice. Bit of double team offense. Orton throws Ivar into the corner. Could eliminate Eric here. Ivar technically is the one that WWE have sort of suggested is the favored player. That power slam is incredible. Randy Orton is so incredibly smooth in the ring. Ivar trying to overpower him. Gets some offense in. It'd be a big boon if they're able to eliminate Randy Orton. It'd be very good for both men. They're stacking their boys up. Ivar's going to be slammed onto Randy Orton. No, double stomp by Kofi from the top. Oh, this is good stuff. Kofi Kingston is genuinely getting back to that main event level at the moment. I'm not here to say like he's being pushed heavily towards it. I just think when it comes to quality. He's delivering to that level again. Matt Riddle getting into cheat. Distracts Kofi and Orton's out. And the Viking Raiders eliminate Randy Orton, meaning that the Viking Raiders will get the opportunity against AJ Styles and Omos. Makes perfect sense for a number of weeks now, even before the Viking Raiders returned, literally before WrestleMania. The reason I thought AJ Styles and Omos were winning was because someone the size of Omos needs someone with huge physicality to counter him. The Viking Raiders are perfect. Think back to Eric in his feud with the Street Profits, when Omos was still the big ninja, saying, I could take him. Now you have your opportunity. Jermaine says, I want to mention I saw Triple H yesterday at the Philadelphia 69ers versus Hawks playoff game that I was at. Fair enough, man. Did you get a chance to say hi, get an autograph? Triple H, in my experience, gets annoyed by people asking for pictures, but he doesn't show it. He's very much a pro. Megan is here. Welcome, Megan, saying this is a good start. Are we sure this is Raw? We're not. We're genuinely not, but it is a good start. For an opening half hour, for a first sixth of Raw, very good for the tag division. We've got a very entertaining match here. Like, I'm excited for this match. Technically, at the moment, it's kind of face versus face, but I'm happy with that. The Viking Raiders will be able to compete physically with Omos. And honestly, it's not impossible that they'll be winning. It's not impossible. So, a very good start to Raw. Can they keep it up? That's the question. Can they keep it up? And we're going straight into a difficult section afterwards because we're seeing Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross. Next, we're going to see Charlotte Flair and Nikki Cross. So how is Nikki Cross going to be used as a spoiler this week? If you're watching on YouTube, please do remember to click like on the video. Every like helps us grow, helps us get introduced to new people, and maybe helps us gain some subscribers as well. We are doing daily videos over on YouTube right now. Those videos are coming from our news videos live on Twitch. So if you want the news live, days ahead of time, you can always get it on Twitch. But if not, subscribe to YouTube and you'll get it in bite-sized 4-5 minute videos as we build up to it. Charlotte Flair backstage in one hell of a suit. Also talking about one hell of a suit, Sonya Deville is there. Sonya Deville. Charlotte wants the result stricken from her record. Even Sonya Deville is not backing her up for once. Jill says we're all about to get shit for 1.5 hours. It's too good to be true. Maybe so. Maybe so. The women's divisions have unfortunately not been doing what we... Wait. Charlotte just laid a challenge at the feet of Sonya Deville there. I'm excited. AJ is here on YouTube. Welcome, AJ. Hi to you as well. Let us know what you're thinking of Raw if you are watching it live. And if you're not watching it live, let us know why you're choosing not to watch it live. Welcome to the show. If they're just getting in and I hear Raw, good start, you drinking. I'm not drinking. It's actually been quite entertaining, but it's only the first half hour. Sonya Deville screwed that line up. Rhea sort of paused her to save her there. So we're going back to the standard WWE Raw well. Oh, 2 women are feuding. Let's make them a tag team. Fantastic. Just what we fucking wanted. Ugh. I'm going to tweet that because it's funny. So we're going back to the well. 2 women feuding over a title? Must be a holla tag team match. What it does mean, and what's very interesting, is that we are going to see Nikki Cross and a partner. Who's that partner going to be? Logically, based on the feud that we've been going into, surely Asuka. Surely it will be Nikki Cross and Asuka, with Nikki Cross and Asuka picking up the win in some fashion. Probably because Charlotte gets bored and just starts attacking Rhea Ripley, and they'll throw the whole damn thing out. Michael says, you know who I thought would be good to win the women's Money in the Bank? Liv. A lot of people thought Aleister Black for the men's as well. A lot of people very disappointed at this point. Braun Strowman would have been a shoe-in, really. But no. At this point, I think Finn Balor and Alexa Bliss are the obvious choices. Which is not something I really expected to be saying going into it, but we are where we are. We very much are where we are. Pardon me. Megan says, this is why I have rage. At this rate, Eva Marie's winning Money in the Bank. Ooh, there's a risk. There's a risk. Will we see Eva Marie back sometime soon? Andrew Zarian of Matt Men podcast has reported that she will be back on the 21st. That is 2 weeks away, just after Hell in a Cell. And that's the beginning of the push for Money in the Bank. So maybe she'll be introducing someone who does, if she doesn't wrestle. Fightful have reported that she's not going to wrestle. They've also reported that she could wrestle. So we're not really sure on that one. Yes, this show will be going for 3 hours. Like I say, if you are watching on YouTube, please do remember to click like. If you are watching on Twitch, please remember to follow if you haven't already. We are currently trying to get up to 200 followers, and we are 3 followers away. So if you do have Twitch, by all means pop over there and click follow. If you don't, if you're already there and have Twitch, then you can also consider popping over to the YouTube video and clicking like on there. That's something that could potentially help me as well. Chelsea says, if Eva Marie wins Money in the Bank, I'll quit watching Raw. Hope you'll still come along for the watch party, Zome. We very much like having you here. And J-Dub is here. Welcome, J-Dub. Says, so what have I missed? Few things. Firstly, we are now live on YouTube and on Periscope as well for one night only, potentially. But we'll wait and see as to how things go from there. Trying to see if this maybe generates some more interest for the Twitch, or if people are really watching a lot on YouTube. I've got a lot of new subscribers over on YouTube, and if a lot of people are watching, it seems like an ideal thing to do. We have a new 24/7 championship winner over on Twitch. I'm currently doing all of that through my phone. So let us VIP. I need to un-VIP Toxic Predator 1. And Megan, you will be VIP'd as our 24/7 champion. You're already VIP'd. I don't think I un-VIP'd you way back when. Over on Twitch, we have a slightly different setup where you can use channel points to become the 24/7 champion of the stream, and you get a VIP for that. Ooh, okay, that's the sore point. That's, of course, where the vaccination was. Get little pins and needles. Ooh. Ooh. But yes, what you've missed on Raw, a very good tag team battle royal. The Viking Raiders will be going against AJ Styles and Omos, and Rhea Ripley will team with Charlotte Flair against Nikki Cross and someone. I can only expect that someone will be Asuka, or potentially a call-up, such as an Io Shirai or Toni Storm. I'll have to wait and see. Jermaine says, I can see Sasha winning at Money in the Bank. Personally, I can't. I just find it unnecessary. She naturally should have a rematch against Bianca Belair at SummerSlam, so I don't think she needs it. I think someone else could take it in that spot. AJ is not watching Raw. Fair enough, mate. Welcome to the show regardless. AJ Styles and Omos are being a little more heelish. Okay, so they were faces against Elias and Jackson Riker, but now they're back to being heels again? I'm also just eating a very big turkey leg in the classic Ivar style, and I respect it. Okay. Establishing once again that they are the heels going into this feud, that makes sense. There aren't actually many heel teams on the Raw brand at the moment, so that's a good choice. Bayley saying the arm pain will be better tomorrow. I'd imagine it will. Like, I literally got this today, so. Alexa Bliss is not in her I want to say baby bliss, but at the same time that's kind of creepy. She's not in her playground attire. She's in her Lilith attire. I don't believe we're going to see Alexa Bliss tagging with someone and that someone will be Lily. I'm confident that she will be Lily herself. It'll just be a variation of her style. That's what I personally see. Pretty sure Lily is the one who set fire to Randy Orton's face, for example. Lily is the one we saw at WrestleMania. That's what I personally see happening here. Oh, they're showing Alexa Bliss on every screen. Kind of burying Bayley by doing that. If we're going to see significant progress and significant evolution of this character, then I'm all for it. But if we continue to see the same stuff week in, week out, I'm not going to care. Bayley says, how would you remediate Shayna Baszler's character? 2 years ago, she was a fearless MMA fighter. Now she's arguing with a doll. Basically, the way I would remediate Shayna Baszler would be to have her walk into Alexa's playground, listen to Alexa say a lot of crap about a doll, beat the ever-living shit out of Alexa Bliss, and then walk off. I think at the end of that, she will already be very perfectly remediated, personally. Elias in the ring, looking depressed. He will be back to live crowds soon, and he's very excited, I promise you that. Jermaine says, I say Sasha, but it could also be Becky Lynch because they're the only two females that would get the biggest crowd reaction when they win it. You say that, but there are a number of women who are actually popular. For example, an Ember Moon, I think would be perfect winning it. Perfect. I don't think a Bayley would be winning it. I don't think a Carmella will be winning it. I think it'll be a fan favorite. So I'd be looking at Raw. I'd be looking at an Asuka as a perfect winner this year. Perfect. But also, Nikki Cross would be a fantastic winner this year. Truly fantastic. Xander TV is here. Welcome, Xander. Says Sasha won't win. They need someone who's been overlooked like Liv Morgan. That wouldn't be a bad shout. I'm just not sure it would translate well into a long-term feud. Basically, if Liv Morgan wins it, I don't think she'll be winning the ensuing match in the championship. And that's a concern for me. I don't want to see it wasted. But at the same time, they have to lose every now and then. Michael says, Nikki would be great. I didn't think of her. Matt says, hello, Fancy Pants Tom. Has Fancy Pants been redeemed, guys? Has Fancy Pants been redeemed and I missed it? And because I'm multi-streaming right now, the channel point things don't automatically come up. So if I've missed one, please do let me know. But let me check my other page. No, but Michael has done a summon. So I'm going to start by doing that. And it looks like Matt's about to do that anyway. Let's start with the summon, shall we? Michael has redeemed a summon for Shane McMahon because now that Braun Strowman's been released, we need the star power that is Shane. So if we get 3 of these, it's like Beetlejuice, and we will see Shane. Here comes the money. The best in the world, Shane McMahon. And that Matt is bringing in the fancy pants for us. So if you'll bear with me just 1 second, I have to go fancy pants now. It's very awkward with the pain in the arm, but we are where we are. Everyone likes the fancy pants option. I'm glad I brought it in. So for anyone who isn't on Twitch and likely has no idea what's going on right now, oh, Jackson Riker's attacking Elias from behind. I don't want this feud. I don't really care. Oh, without a shave. Doesn't look like him. For anyone who doesn't, who isn't over on Twitch and hasn't joined us there, you won't know about the channel point options. One of those channel point options is theme changes. We have Christmas themes, we have pirate themes, and we have fancy pants themes. Apologies for the belly. Ow. Apologies for the belly. Fancy pants. Essentially, they force me to change, which can get really annoying at some points. I don't think you said what you meant to say there, noob. Let me catch up and get to that one. Megan says, fan favorite picks options, Naomi, Nikki Cross, even Mia Yim to boost the restart with her. That's an option. A restart boost. I can see that one working. Xander says, I wonder what Elias would look like without a beard. Not sure. I can't even imagine it, to be honest. Can't even imagine it. Jay Quick is here. Welcome, Jay Quick. I'm going to assume, because I'm not regularly tracking things, if I look at my activity feed. Right, fair enough. I'm going to assume, Jay Quick, as you've arrived, that you hosted, because usually when you arrive, you host. So I'm just going to assume that that's what you did. Yeah, Jay Quick says, I'm surprised the Viking Raiders won. I'm a little surprised, but not too surprised. It's an ideal feud for me. It's two powerhouses taking on AJ Styles, who's the best wrestler in the world in my book, and a massive guy. Noob says, and I want to question this, the rest of this one, Riker is going commando with that haircut tonight. I get what you mean to say. I get what you mean to say. But also, I worry that you're saying what you didn't necessarily mean to say. Jacob says, do you think there'll be more releases this week? I remember you said in a tone like you had something to keep our eyes on Ricochet. You'll recall I was hoping for his release, not because I don't like him, but because I do. If I have inside info, I share it, J-Dub, at least as much as possible. I do my news shows for anyone who's just watching on YouTube over on Twitch at 10 p.m. or 5 p.m. EST in American time. They're the news shows that I do. Or if you're watching on YouTube, we release videos every single day. And every single day, there are some news videos for you to enjoy as well. But no, I said keep your eye on Ricochet because I just was worried, basically. AJ seems to very much enjoy the fancy pants. I have suited the highest of ups. Jermaine says, I agree with you, Tom. I think Alexa turns into Lily, and I think Lily might have a match with Shayna later on tonight. I think that's possible. I don't think it's impossible by any stretch. But if anything, they'll probably build to a pay-per-view on this. Alexa Bliss very rarely wrestles now. Noob says, sorry, it's a pun from the 2000s. I know, but it's also wearing no underwear. And I don't think his hair gives too much away. Thank you very much, AJ. I try my best. I do need a haircut, though. I've got way too much of it. Way too much of it. Jay Quick says, is Metallic legit injured or is it kayfabe? I'm not entirely sure. I haven't been able to reach out to anyone yet. I believe it is an actual injury based on what they were saying there, but I believe it'll be a short-term injury based on what they're saying there. They've had a bit of bad luck, unfortunately, with that one. So far, the first half hour was very good. The tag division got the focus and things were going very, very well. Since then, we've seen a backstage segment which was okay and was booking something later in the night. We've seen Elias and Jackson Riker, who I'm never going to care about. So second half hour, not as good as the first. Megan says, I just wonder why Alexa went after Reginald to get to Shayna. Shayna didn't give a smeg about him. Good use of smeg. Thank you very much for that. It's not often I credit someone for their use of smeg, but that's good use of smeg. You know how to control the smeg. And it's a good question. If anything, you're going after Nia Jax if you're going after Reginald, but no, apparently going after Shayna. Very confusing to me. We have somehow ended up with Jackson Riker versus Elias. I don't imagine for a moment that Elias is winning this. Elias does not win a lot of matches. To be fair, Elias also doesn't wrestle a lot of matches. It's not a great thing. Thunder TV believes this is what should happen. Lily should get thrown in the bin, taken to the dump, and should be recycled. That's some strong opinion you've got there, Xander, and I applaud that. I don't like the doll. I think the whole Alexa Bliss character has jumped the shark, but Alexa is a very good talker. I like the evolving character. I like some of the character that they've got and that they're working with. I just think they need to move on a little faster. And by a little faster, I mean much faster, because it's a lot of the same stuff again and again and again. Sander says Jackson Riker looks so different. I agree. He really does with a haircut. He really does. He might be trying to get rid of a few old memories, but when you've got the flag literally on your pants, yeah, getting away from it. It says, are they making Riker a face? Possibly. I'm still not cheering him. Given that Elias was the one who was attacked from behind, and he's the one who's still selling an injury while wrestling, I would imagine Elias is supposed to be the face. And Dander says, I just want to understand how this Lily story is interesting and compelling, finding it extremely hard to see it. I personally don't think it's interesting and compelling. I think it could be with a few tweaks and changes, like just telling it a lot faster. Little things can make a big difference, and telling a story with a bit of pace behind it can be that difference. It definitely can be that difference. Elias is now starting to get back to a dominant position. Not often for him. Earlier on today in the news show, in Spoiler Warning, we did a WWE preview in which I said, given that Sheamus is injured, I expect we'll see Ricochet versus Humberto Carrillo to determine who's going to be the number one contender. The WWE have just confirmed that that is indeed the plan. Tonight we'll see Ricochet versus Humberto Carrillo, and honestly, my suspicion is that neither of them will win, that Sheamus will wait for them to wrestle a bit, come down, beat the hell out of both of them, and we'll get the standard build to a triple threat at the pay-per-view. That seems the most likely situation for me. Elias seems to be running away from Jackson Riker here. That's not a face move. I think they're both heels. Riker's just staying in the ring. They are piping in the actual count out from the fans. I kind of respect that. Jackson Riker genuinely looks completely different. There's a bit of Zack Ryder about him all of a sudden. Though don't tell Zack Ryder that. Can't imagine I'll be happy about it. Megan says Elias's win-loss record so far in 2021 is 3 wins and 16 losses. So he has generally been wrestling a lot more this year. 3 wins and 6. Yep, Megan with a fair point. Maybe that's 17 losses. For anyone who doesn't know. Oh, God, put it away. Oh, he's just covered in spit. Ugh. Anyway, for anyone who doesn't know, Megan is our resident stat queen. Xander says if Lily turned out to be snooky, then I will like it. I think there are ways they can make it work, but you have to be just a little bit ridiculous for it. If the doll turns out to be Bray Wyatt in drag, you've jumped the shark, but I also kind of respect the fortitude of it. You know, that no matter whether people like it or hate it, you're just going to keep going down that really dark and strange tunnel. I kind of have to applaud that. They are showing highlights of Drew McIntyre versus Kofi Kingston from last week. Kofi Kingston did provide a very good challenge for Drew McIntyre, which is something that Drew McIntyre has not encountered a lot of. Actual decent challenges. You don't see many of them for Drew McIntyre. You genuinely don't. While I have you all, if you're watching on YouTube, Periscope, or Twitch, please do remember that I have a Discord. I'll put a link to the Discord in all of the chats right now. Anyone who hasn't joined, you are, of course, more than welcome to. We talk wrestling there. We share wrestling news. We also do a bit about football, a bit about gaming, given that on Twitch I also do gaming streams, and we promote ourselves and our own individual streams. So if you'd like to join a Discord, you are welcome to do so. Drew McIntyre is now making an entrance. He will be part of our second hour draw segment for the contract signing with Bobby Lashley. I know, Michael, I know. It's one of those, it fades into the background, but I appreciate that you joined regardless. I will eventually be using it for audio because on streams I can bring in Discord audio very easily. Very easily. So, for example, we could do a call-in show where you get to call in and ask your questions just by joining one of the podcast channels on the Discord. Chelsea says, thoughts on Haaland maybe going to Chelsea? You've already spent so much money. Werner, Havertz, all of them, so many players who are just starting to gel, literally just starting, and now you want to throw in even more. It's typical Chelsea. Keep spending your way out of having a cohesive team. Do you remember when they got Mata, Hazard, and Oscar? And the idea was these three have to play together. Also, let's buy this guy. Let's buy this guy. Juan Cuadrado, let's buy him. I can't remember the German winger. Can't remember him. But it was just they kept signing people to replace people that they still were trying to use. It's such a Chelsea way of doing things. Give Werner and Havertz a chance before you go out and sign more people. We have another commercial break to lead into our second hour draw segment. Good God, this whole thing is taking forever. This is definitely one of the worst things about Raw for me. Just the amount of commercial breaks, the fact that you're just sitting around forever waiting. You're waiting for something to happen. Chelsea says a missing piece of the puzzle. We need a clinical striker who will develop into one of the world's best. Make back all the money you spend on him from t-shirt sales alone. You will not make all the money back you spend on him from t-shirt sales alone. Don't be ridiculous. Arsenal thought they were getting that with Lacazette. So all I'll say. Ed says Drew still looks so good with that sword. The sword enhanced his overall. BT Sport are still showing Braun Strowman quite a lot. Still showing him quite a lot. Oof. Awkward moment there. But yeah, adding that sword really added to the overall character. Just in little ways, but in ways nonetheless. Jacob says, you think these breaks are bad for us? Imagine Drew just standing in the ring right now, waiting. You are right. You are absolutely right with that. Anytime I've been to like an NXT UK taping, whenever there's a replay showing on the screen or anything like that, they literally just stand in the ring waiting. He ain't Pogba, Chelsea. Calm down. Also, really? Oh, Chelsea also aren't Man United. Very different situation. Noob says Drew McIntyre is awesome with that Claymore sword. Completely agree. Also, Chelsea, to be fair, Haaland's got a pretty good thing at Dortmund. Pretty good thing. If I were him, I'd stick about. Jermaine says, I think that it's going to be really hard to do Alexa TV magic tricks. So if Shayna is going to beat Alexa's or Lily next opponent, then Alexa needs to look dominant while beating her. I get what you're saying. When we go live, Alexa has to stop doing the costume changes. She has to have one clearly defined character. As soon as we go live, she has to have that one clearly defined character. At the moment, she has 3 or 4 roughly defined characters. She needs to make it proper. If that's true, Chelsea, are we sure he would go to Chelsea? There are other options. For example, if Cavani didn't sign, I could imagine him going to United. Megan says Drew plus Kilt plus Claymore equals happy me. Megan is also a resident first queen. Loki starts on Wednesday. Just to remind you. Also, let me know if I'm wrong because I've like booked my day around that. That's a lovely bit of drink. Absolutely lovely. If you are watching on YouTube, please do remember to click like on the video. That helps us grow and helps bring people in. We are currently growing very quickly on YouTube because I'm doing daily news videos, but anything I can do to increase that subscribership is a very good thing because ultimately I would like to make money doing things like this. That is one of the big benefits of Twitch. I've been able to make a bit of money over there so far. That is why I'm only doing every now and then shows right here on YouTube. We will be doing shows on YouTube for watch parties for NXT in Your House, that's this weekend, and as well for Hell in a Cell. But Hell in a Cell will be the pre-show. The main show watch party will be on Twitch only. So if you do have Twitch, or in fact, if you don't, you can always sign up and pop on over. It is twitch.tv/Tom Colohue. In fact, let me just put that in the chat as well so everyone can very easily find it. We are at twitch.tv/Tom Colohue. Fair enough, Megan. Get what you're saying. Well, we'll wait and see on that one, Chelsea. I mean, the idea of everything's worked out except for this one thing is what's kept Jadon Sancho dormant for the past 3 years. Drew's already got himself a microphone. Classic. Taking the piss out of the Godfather. Seems unnecessary. So Drew is essentially cutting Lashley's promo for him. We're getting a Scottish history lesson. Megan, keep it in your pants. Jermaine, at the moment, based on what I've been hearing, free. We're expecting free. But that can change. We're getting a lesson in spider webs. Can't be the only one who's not really there for it. Sonya Deville looks a bit bored. Scottish history lesson by Robert de Bruce. Now, Megan, you do not. I will shut my mouth. Jada says, I love how Adam Pearce genuinely looks interested in what Drew is saying. Adam Pearce's background acting is extremely good. Background acting is something, as you know, I'm very interested in. There is one person, one woman stood around Lashley who is making a point of being prominent on TV at all times. Again, background acting, I respect it. She's just making a point of being on TV at all times, which is clever, a very good use of her time. For anyone who's not familiar with the phrase second hour draw segment, essentially, you are at your most risk as a WWE show of someone changing the channel at the turn of the hour. That's when other things are starting. That's when you might consider, oh, I'll go to bed now. So they intentionally put on what we would refer to as draw segments. So someone, a prominent name, who will ensure that you are less likely to change the channel. Drew McIntyre is one here. Randy Orton's one that they've used. They use Charlotte Flair a lot. And over on SmackDown, it's almost always Bianca Belair. Oh, bless you, AJ. Bless you. I'm guessing you're watching on your phone if you feel you need to download it. J-Dub, that better not become a recurring thing. Trouble you are. Trouble you are. It's just annoying. My arm is just being annoying. It's not painful. It's just, I'm not even aware of it until I move it, at which point it's like, hey, do you remember me? Do you remember me? Yes, I do. You're really fucking annoying. Please stop. Can I just say, Bobby Lashley's suit is fucking amazing. Yes, it is, Jermaine. Good spot. When I talk about the one woman in particular who's making a point of being on TV as much as possible, I very much referred to the woman in the red dress. Michael says, I felt the exact same way, nothing painful, but just annoying. Yeah, that's all it is. And Jada says, my arm killed me for about 3 days after my shot. Well, that's fun. But that's the thing, it's just an annoyance. I just want it to stop. I am doing, Ed. I am doing. So I've got my badger mug. If anyone hasn't seen my badger mug. Plenty to drink. And keeping it moving. That's exactly it, Jada. Bobby Lashley has laid down the challenge. If you lose, Drew McIntyre will not get another championship opportunity ever again. Strongly suggesting that Drew McIntyre will win the match and then go on to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. But surely Drew McIntyre is going to have a counter to this. He accepts. There'll be a condition. There'll be a condition. He's clarified he will never challenge Lashley for the WWE Championship again. Outside interference. Big smile on Drew's face. He's been waiting for this for a long time. McIntyre has laid down the challenge inside Hell in a Cell. Lashley's going to take it. Lashley's a confident man, and he's confident for a reason. Accepts immediately. They have to edit the contract now. It says Daddy DeVille has the best suit in this segment. For once, I'm not 100% sure. Bobby Lashley looks damn good. Megan says, interesting she's in red considering background people tend to be deliberately put in the same color palette to make the leads stand out. True, but costume tends to be up to the individual. So I think she's intentionally done that one. I also think that's the point of like the cream glittery one. I want to say white, but it's not white. That obviously stands out. Jada says, do you think Lashley's arm hurt after his vaccine? Yes, because it's an internal sort of pain. Doesn't matter how muscled you are, if it hurts, it hurts. And Jermaine says, thank you, Tom. I was thinking that day one since you started hanging out with Bobby. So far as contract signings go, it's pretty good. Fair enough, Ed. Drew did lose last year at Hell in a Cell. Lost against Randy Orton. It's not outside the realms of possibility that he wins here. Ooh. McIntyre might not be Roman Reigns, but he's still a damn good promo. A good response from Bobby Lashley. McIntyre says, I'll see you in hell. To which Lashley responds, I'll beat you there also. Good response. And McIntyre just uses sword to break the table. Why? Why? Seems unnecessary. Jermaine says, wouldn't be funny. Brock Lesnar comes in, interrupts that match at Hell in a Cell, costing Drew the match. Potentially funny. I think it's more likely that McIntyre wins so that he can have the rematch with Brock at SummerSlam. It's awkward. Jadeb says, I was literally just thinking the same thing about Drew. His promos have gotten so good. They seem much more natural than most people. And that is obviously a real advantage that he has. Because if you feel natural, you're going to connect with people that little bit more, that little bit stronger, that little bit better. And that's what you need. Chelsea just says, Pimpy Lashley will lose at Hell in a Cell. I'll have to wait and see on that one. Have to wait and see. And Bailey says, if Lesnar shows up at a pay-per-view, is Paul Heyman following him? No. No, he is not. Paul Heyman is staying with Roman. Nikki Cross has new gear. She has a backstage interview with Sarah Schreiber where they're talking about her victories. She didn't have victories. She survived for 2 minutes. You shouldn't be given credit for that. I'm a big fan of Nikki Cross, but she hasn't won. Pimpy Lashley or Bobby Pimply? Bobby Lash me. If I'm going to go pure first, it would be Bobby Lash me. Nikki Cross is talking about Asuka. I'm confident now. It is indeed Asuka. I think that's a safety. Sheamus is making his entrance. Let's have a look at your face, mate. Let's have a oh, he's wearing the mask. He's wearing the mask. So essentially, I don't think Sheamus will be stepping into the ring until the pay-per-view, at which point he will take on either Ricochet, Humberto Carrillo, or both. My personal suspicion is both. So far, Raw's been okay. There's been a couple of downs, Riker Elias, but ultimately, I'm excited to see Nikki and Asuka team. I think it shows that they're continuing to actually give a shit about Nikki Cross, which is rare. Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo, if they actually give them the time, I think this could be a really good match. I think this could really deliver. And I think they have to just show faith and let them, just let them. Jada says, I can't help but cheer for Nikki. Absolutely, I completely agree. And Chelsea says, in a similar vein, Nikki is the most likable person on the whole women's roster. I have a feeling Americans can't understand her accent that well, though. I mean, I suppose that's a fair point. I can't understand some American accents sometimes. But Scottish is not the most globally recognized of languages. A lot of people I've worked with in the past have had to have like a professional voice where they're still Scottish, but they flatten it a little bit. They flatten it and make it a bit different to try and make themselves a bit more easily understandable. It's an awkward one. It's an awkward one. Chelsea says, Seamus looks funny. I'm sorry, but that's not scary at all. I don't think he's trying to be scary. I think at that point he's looking a bit nervous. Bailey says, Scottish is easier to understand than Welsh. No question. No question at all. And as an Irishman, depends where you are in Ireland as to how understandable that is. Northern Irish is a lot easier to understand. And Ed has decided to remind us of a really dark time in which Leo Rush literally had a microphone turned off because he just started chanting Lashley's name in the middle of a match. I believe it was against Sami Zayn. I think it was Lashley versus Sami. And Leo Rush was just walking around the outside saying, Lashley, Lashley, Lashley. And then he got turned off. Good times. Jermaine says, WWE needs big time matches for SummerSlam this year. I feel Roman Reigns versus John Cena is one match for the Universal title. Brock versus Bobby for the World title will be huge too. They are easily the favorites right now for the SummerSlam matches, but I do still think it's very much possible that what we're actually going to get is Drew McIntyre versus Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar again. It's not impossible. Caleb says Ricochet and Mustafa Ali have had a series of matches on main event, which have been fantastic. Not a show I usually watch, but when I heard they've been doing a weekly thing, I thought I would check it out. To be fair, Ali versus Jeff Hardy has apparently been very, very good as well. Main event has had some really good wrestling on it, but nobody watches it. And this is the thing. I'm constantly told, oh, it's all about the wrestling. I'm not interested in the storylines. I'm all about the wrestling. Okay, so are you watching main event where great wrestling is? Are you watching 205 Live where there's great wrestling? Most people aren't. Most people aren't. I would like to see some evolution of Ali Mansour at some point tonight. Just even a brief mention. Just let me know it's still in your mind. Just let me know it's still in your mind. I'd be interested in that. That will help keep this Raw good for me. The second hour last week was incredibly boring. The second hour last week was just incredibly boring. They need to work it out and keep it going this time. Chelsea says, do we know if Raw is live tonight? Raw is live tonight. Megan says, as regards her Scottish accent, I change my accent all the time depending on who I'm talking to. I like to see it as a superpower, though. If you look at it positively, then it's a positive. Real simple. Chelsea says, they better get Brock for SummerSlam. They must have released some talent to help pay for it. There is no direct correlation between getting Brock on a new contract and releasing the people that they did. There is no direct correlation, but there may be a accidental correlation. JD watches 205 Live often. What are your highlights? Like in general, as a question, what's going on 205 Live now that you would recommend? Because the only thing that's actually had me interested in 205 so far is Buddy Murphy, and he's been off that so long that he's literally been released. Matt says, can never challenge for said title ever again, which means Drew is winning. He actually clarified that. Drew had it clarified that he can never challenge Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship again. It's not never again for the championship. It's never again Bobby Lashley for the championship. Jill says, when does main event and 205 air, and is it on the network? 205 is on the network. And that airs right after Raw, I believe. Or is it SmackDown? It's right after SmackDown. And main event, I honestly don't know. I don't believe that's on the network. Ricochet making his Ricochet making his interest in his jeans and his jean jacket and his leather. He's enjoying the broken nose, bless him. It says AEW had 462,000 total viewership. That's yikes worthy, even on a different night and time. Yeah, I think I I think it's very much that, the time harmed them. The night harmed them. The change harmed them. Also, the fact that it's on much later harmed them. And the fact that a lot of people may have watched SmackDown, been satisfied with that amount of wrestling, and then thought to themselves, okay, I'll catch up on my AEW later. They may have just had their wrestling fix that night. There's a lot of things working against them. Chelsea says, have we had Brock versus The Rock? Yes, it was SummerSlam 2002. SummerSlam 2002, Brock Lesnar versus The Rock. That was Brock Lesnar's first championship win. Jermaine Presley says, the only reason I don't say Drew versus Brock is because I was thinking WWE is building up Jinder Mahal versus Drew McIntyre. Jinder Mahal seems to be very invested in that and has already cut several promos on that fact. Not necessarily on the championship, but on Drew McIntyre. So I think that very much suggests the likelihood of that happening as well. They're showing a replay of the broken nose. Of course, it was Carrillo who broke it. Interesting seeing Sheamus react the way that he did. It was a really immediate reaction for him. Pardon me. Jadeb said that I believe Main Event is syndicated and network. That makes sense. But Jadeb also says I've been watching Main Event on the network. So maybe it's old shows? Who can tell? Who can tell? Jermaine clarifying, Main Event is on Hulu on Thursday. Thursday. SummerSlam 2015. Brock versus Cena, I think that was 2014, actually. I think Brock versus Cena was 2014. Yeah, 2015 Rollins was the champion. And that was Rollins versus Cena, and yeah, I think the finish was Rollins versus Cena with Jon Stewart getting involved. So I think it was 2014. Yep. Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo doing flips just to scare Sheamus. Sheamus is very much playing up to the fear of the broken nose. I like it. He's got a real intensity, but every now and then he shows a little bit of cowardice. And Ricochet attacking Carrillo from behind. Smart, but a bit cowardly. Just a bit cowardly there. That is a little tweak, and I like it. Right. James says, yeah, I believe the main events I was catching up on were at least 3 weeks ago. Got it. So it may be syndication. Matt says, no one is happy about Jackson Riker being a babyface. If Vince thinks people will cheer him, he's in for a rude awakening. I don't think Jackson Riker is a face, but also at the same time, I don't think Elias is a face. Jackson Riker did attack someone from behind to start the match. It was from behind. So I don't see a face there, but I'll wait and see as to what crowd reaction they decide on. And then, of course, crowds will come back and the crowds will boo him. I'm never going to cheer Jackson Riker. Jill says, did Sheamus just say gobshites? Probably. I mean, as an Irishman myself, it's in the vernacular. Sometimes you have to say gobshites. You just have to. Chelsea saying Jackson Riker is obviously a face. Now the haircut proves it. To be fair, the haircut, the reinvention of the character. There's previous there. There's previous. Something to be aware of, something to watch out for. Jacob says, let's not use the word cowardly. Crafty, perhaps? Possibly. I think he was being a bit cowardly there. Billy says, what's the latest with WWE films? I thought Red Becky Lynch was being considered for a movie before her maternity leave. Ed says, I think it's folded. I don't believe it has folded per se. It's an in-house company. So ultimately, if it folded, then that would seriously affect WWE's production staff. But they may have closed that out because they obviously did change. They restructured pretty heavily. So they may have closed it. But we'll wait and see as regards that. Matt saying Austin attacked 3 people from behind while being a babyface. Yes, but nobody was going to turn on Austin. Austin attacked The Rock and stunned him several times while The Rock was at the height of his power. Austin could do that. Jackson Riker, I'm surprised I have to say this. Jackson Riker is not Stone Cold Steve Austin. That is a very different situation. Oh. Chelsea said, "What do you think about WWE starting another big streak for a character like The Undertaker's? The Undertaker's streak was accidental. It was supposed to stop at 7, it was supposed to stop at 8, it was supposed to stop at 9, it was supposed to stop at 10. After that, they pushed it a bit further. But ultimately, it got to a point where people refused to let him lose. For example, at number 10, he was supposed to lose it to Randy Orton, and Randy Orton said, nah, it's not happening. It's not happening. As I just looked it up, still there, but they aren't doing a lot with it. Right now, they can't do anything with it. They genuinely can't. But I'm sure they will start again soon once they have something to do with it. James says Riker should start a Riker 316 shirt based on that comment. Don't even start. Don't even start with me. Don't even start with me. What did they have in 2019 of Aleister Black, Matt? Was it a film? Was he in a film? Was it a t-shirt? Was it a 316 shirt? What was it they had of Aleister Black? Ricochet and Carrillo have undefeated streak. Right, got it. Yeah, they went so far, and then I think it was it Styles? Styles broke the streak after Aleister Black had already wrestled Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. And then after that, he also lost to Seth Rollins. And those are his only losses. Mostly because he hasn't been there for a long time. Like a long time. Ricochet is adding an extra intensity to his character. And I like it. I really do like it. Jermaine says, I believe main event is filmed right after Raw. And technically it was like an extra hour of Raw. Meanwhile, 205 is filmed right before SmackDown, but it's shown on Peacock right after SmackDown. From what I saw earlier on Mustafa Ali's Twitter, he's already recorded a match with Jeff Hardy for this week. Wait and see. This is going to be a very high-flying match. A very high-flying match. So yeah, I did believe it was filmed before Raw. They are advertising Asuka and Nikki Cross versus Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair for later on in the show. That would be a very fitting main event, to be fair. I could see that being the main event. And so it's very possible. Since 2019, they haven't done much working with Netflix mostly now for things like the main event for Netflix they made. Got it. Yep, you're absolutely right there. Matt believes Black should have gotten a title match out of the streak. An actual WWE Championship match, because then that would have ended the streak. There weren't any plans to make Aleister Black a WWE champion, so it's one of those. If there were no plans to make him champion, I wouldn't have given the championship match, personally. But that's just how I work. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh, it's getting worse. It is getting worse. Yeah, they're focused on the Mansoor undefeated streak. But I think that they could do more with people. But it depends who they're doing it with. Really does depend who they're doing it with. Oh, you mean it's just a championship? I can see that. That makes sense. Ricochet, Jermaine says, Ricochet needs to move to SmackDown. Could you imagine him versus Roman Reigns could be a really fun match? It would end in about 5 minutes is the problem. It could be a really fun match. The problem is you'd move him to SmackDown, he'd have one match, and then he'd just be sat backstage for like 300 days. I think they're using him very well right now. They're putting him with opponents who will get the best out of him. They've got him against Sheamus, who's a recognized Raw, not as strong as like a Drew McIntyre, but a recognized Raw regardless. And they're adding a certain tweak to his physicality. Minga says he had an undefeated run month as well. He only had one loss since late 2019. Indeed. Jill says it's almost like streaks and wins and losses don't mean anything anymore. Such an issue. They are. There's less focus on wins and losses now than there have been in a long time. The WWE care less about wins and losses Because ultimately, people do have very short attention spans. But an undefeated streak can still go a long way. The thing is, Aleister Black still felt like a big deal, even after he lost his undefeated streak. Still felt like a big deal. As says, Black confirmed he was supposed to be US champion last year. That is something that was floated about, but supposed to is such a hard phrase to really get behind. He was considered for a US championship when they went in another direction. It's hard to really quantify it beyond that. Good match so far. Lots of high flying. Ricochet adding some physicality as well. They're on the apron at the moment from where I'm watching, and they are upgrading the physicality of the match. I like that. I like just having that bit of extra anger, as it were. Spanish fly from the apron. I like it. That would be good for a count out. That'd be very good for a double count out. Ricochet seems to be getting up, though. That's a double count out. Ensuring that we get that triple threat. Matt says, I don't think selling means much anymore, which I tweeted out. Yeah, not entirely sure what you're saying there. But I get what you're saying in the first part. Don't think selling means much anymore. It depends what you're watching. In NXT, selling doesn't really happen that much anymore. Roman Reigns match, hell of a lot of selling. Hell of a lot of selling. Chelsea really enjoyed that. Says, what a match. What a match indeed. I think at this point, Sheamus is going to start attacking people. No, he's just walking away. He's walking away. Good match. Standard storytelling, nothing fancy, which will potentially get us to a proper triple threat in which there is actually some tension between Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo. I liked it. I think Raw's going well. Oh, okay. I thought that was like a book, The Art of Selling by Bret Hart. MVP wants to talk to Kofi. Surely not about Woods. Woods has walked off. Jermaine says, I thought WWE were always going to do Jay versus Jimmy Uso at Hell in a Cell. They were not. Jay Uso himself has said that a second match was not planned, that it was supposed to be a match in the September, but the way that the match was received meant that they had the match at Hell in a Cell. There was no plan for that match at Hell in a Cell until they had their first match, and the fan reaction was very positive. And that comes from Jey Uso himself. Jadub says, I'm just happy those guys have some TV time. Agreed. I'm happy they've got one, TV time, and two, an actual interesting story to work with. And ultimately, they've got a chance at a championship. We're a triple threat. I mean, that's how they got it off Lashley. MVP's talking about Kofi Mania. What does he want? I get the feeling this is real. MVP saying that's why he came back. I think that's real. I'm very much enjoying this MVP promo. I like that they're not quite letting go of Kofi Mania. I like it. I can't imagine Kofi's going to fall for it. I can't see it. Xavier Woods and Big E, they are his boys. Everyone in the world deserves friends like the New Day. Kofi's answering to it. Logically, Kofi versus Lashley at Money in the Bank. Why not? No reason not to. Let me catch up on this chat. So, yep, you've scrolled back. Matt says Bret Hart should write a book about selling. You're not wrong. That would definitely sell. Forgive the pun. Mal says, going to be honest, I don't really care much about the US title picture because Sheamus beat both Ricochet and Humberto back to back. And they both beat him back to back as well, to be entirely fair. And I get your reasoning for that. I personally think this is quite interesting. I like seeing Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo used. I like how Sheamus is back to being the gatekeeper character, but he's got a new intensity to him. I like this. Ed is thinking about the idea of Kofi as a Hurt Business client, and he fucking loves it. All power to you, mate. I don't think they're going to go that way, but to be fair, I have previously reported that after Kofi Kingston initially lost the WWE Championship, there was a storyline pitched in which he was made more intense and started chasing Brock Lesnar for quite a while. I can see shades of that in what we've just seen. And Matt says, if I'm booking this, Kofi beats Lashley in Money in the Bank and we get a real match with Lesnar and Kofi. Don't see that. There's not a money match there. The money match is Lashley versus Lesnar. And I think you'd be hard pressed to find too many people who disagree with that. Because why not? If you can have that, why not have that, you know? It's new, it's completely original, and who knows what. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit stiff, but we are halfway through Raw. We are halfway through our watch party. And so, it's not been bad. The tag section at the beginning, the first half hour was very good. Really enjoyed that section there with Kofi Kingston. And the Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley section, a very good contract signing. Trim, to the point. Also quite enjoyed the match between Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo. Liked how the finish was. Raw's been all right so far. There is still time to screw everything up. There's still time. Matt believes RK Bro is still the best thing on Raw. They had a good segment earlier on as well that you may have enjoyed. Jeddah says, time to wake up, everyone. Indeed. Just got to get myself going again. I brought myself some chocolate just to keep me energized. Noob says, I'm a little surprised that Asuka is Nikki's partner tonight. I like Asuka, but I think she needs to step back from the Raw Women's title picture. Her babyface character is running on empty and her Twitter game needs some improvement. I wouldn't worry about her Twitter game. That's not really something that they focus on very much. But I don't think she's actually in the Raw Women's title picture. I think she's very much a body of high drawing capability, and that's pretty much it. But I said the decent Raw, Vince must not have torn up the script. Or he did. Have we considered that possibility? Because a while ago he was tearing up SmackDown scripts. Then suddenly SmackDown got good. Now he's tearing up Raw scripts. Eva Marie is having another vignette. I think she's going to announce her comeback now. It has been J-Dub. Because of the multi-stream, sound alerts is not active tonight. But I respect where you were going. That would definitely have woken me up. Yeah, that shit is loud. They are showing Eva Marie wrestling in this vignette. I mean, that's quite telling. Next Monday. Andrew Zarian unfortunately got this one wrong. She will debut on the 14th. Andrew Zarian earlier did report the 21st. Next week, Eva Marie. Next week, in the Go Home show for Hell in a Cell, we have a big return. Interesting. Matt says, saving RK Bro versus Styles Amos for either Money in the Bank or SummerSlam is the right call. Agree there. Matt also says, remember when Nikki Cross and Asuka were enemies in NXT and hated each other? Yeah, that was many years ago. They're fine with it now. And New just says, next week? Next week indeed. Jermaine is looking at. Now, when I think about it, Eva Marie winning Money in the Bank briefcase with Piper Niven's help will make a bigger splash, and having her cash in on whoever is a Raw Women's champion will be huge. I don't think they're going to go the whole hog from the off. I don't think they'll do that, but we never can tell. I think Andrew also said, I'd imagine there was supposed to be a said there, WWE is confusing him with the whole Eva Marie thing. Very possible. Very possible. Ali in a suit. Mansoor's about to wrestle. Ali's clearly not about to wrestle. I'm genuinely interested in this. So Mansoor will be taking on Drew Gulak. It's lower card stuff, but the fact that you have Ali, you have Mansoor there, that's big. That'll help them. This is good use of their characters and personalities. Like I'm enjoying Raw. It's weird. I don't trust it. Jeff Hardy is making an appearance. Jeff Hardy exists. Just reminding us about Jeff Hardy. Who's he losing to this week? Jinder Mahal again? Hopefully not. Cedric? I'm landing on Cedric. I'm landing on Cedric. AJ says, I don't see Eva as champion. Personally, I don't either. I think she's going to do more of a management role, but we are where we are. Jacob says, who is Hardy losing to now? I said that myself, yeah. I'll be interested to see. Has some thoughts to share about his matchup early on. Cedric Alexander. I think Jeff Hardy's about to lose to Cedric Alexander. I don't want that. I really don't want that. To be fair, Chelsea, that is extremely scripted. Extremely scripted. And Matt has caught on to Kofi versus Riddle, which was just announced. It should indeed be good. Should be a very good match. Riddle will definitely be looking for an RKO again. definitely be looking for an RKO. Chelsea just says Hardy doesn't even deserve Pyro if he loses this. What did he just say about respect? What did he just say about respect? And there you are, disrespecting him. Matt says, to be fair, if Jeff hasn't signed a new contract, then why is he still here? Good question. He was working extras and Matt because of an injury, but I'm pretty sure those days would have gone at this point. I think it's just habit. If he had signed a new contract, surely he'd have got a push out of it or something. Surely he wouldn't be losing every week. Would you sign a new contract if you're going to lose every week? I don't know. I don't know Jeff's mind. I don't think anybody does. I don't think Jeff does most of the time, let's be completely honest. But we'll wait and see. I mean, maybe he'll beat Cedric. Ella J's just told me off for thinking that Jeff Hardy's going to lose. Just gonna do a frown and just be sad. And say sorry to her. Megan says this Alexander run could be like a Mortal Kombat tower with Randy Orton, the OG legend killer at the end. Would not be mad if that was a plan. I actually quite like that idea. Things like that can go a long way. You don't necessarily need an unbeaten streak per se, but bear with me. I think there's a lot to be said for fighting with a few people on your way to the top. For a while, a way back, I really liked the idea of AJ Styles as a final boss. When he was still US champion, he had Gallows and Anderson. Just make it so that every week, open challenge, but you have to get through Gallows and you have to get through Anderson. And then when you finally get to him, you've got no chance because you're exhausted. Give it 7-8 months of doing that. Putting on great matches with a variety of people, Gallows or Anderson first, getting through, teasing getting further, then have someone go all the way, maybe like an Aleister Black, and you'll see that you make a new star there. There's ways to do things. Jermaine says, I don't understand why WWE just released Jeff Hardy and put him out of his misery instead of embarrassing him and have him lose week after week. I don't know, Jermaine. I don't know what the situation is anymore. It's just very confusing. Because if they had no more words, why not let him have it? If they're waiting for fans to come back, what's he going to do? Go out there with no more words, get a big pop, and then still lose because he's got no momentum. I don't know what the hell's going to happen. And Jill says that frog advert on BT is tripping me out. I thankfully am taking my eyes off when we go to commercial breaks. So I'm not really catching it. Matt says Bray Wyatt was completely cut from the Alexa Bliss video package like her pairing with Bray. It never happened. They've left that in the background and they've just moved on. They've just completely moved on from that like it has never happened. Bray Wyatt has been consigned to the past. He's been forgotten. He's not important anymore. He's not who they want. Which sucks, but if he's not there, he's not there. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Jermaine says, will we get a women's match inside of Hell in a Cell this year? I believe we will. I believe that match will be Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. Now, as much as I don't want to see Jeff Hardy losing nonstop, this is a very good win for Cedric to pick up, if, of course, he picks it up. Yes, AJ, I believe Charlotte and Rhea will be the Hell in a Cell. Because this could be particularly good for Cedric. Cedric has toned himself down a little bit in his promo, which is good. It's overdue. Thank you for subscribing, AJ. My notification has just popped up saying that you have. Thank you for subscribing on YouTube. Anyone who hasn't subscribed on YouTube, you can always pop across to the YouTube channel and subscribe now. It's a big benefit to me. And hopefully it'll be a big benefit to you. Matt says, Fightful did report that there was no end game to that pairing. They did report that, but I think there are suggestions that there was an end game and they just changed their mind. I think there are clear suggestions of that in the booking and the storytelling in the build-up to it. I think there are clear suggestions that is actually not the case. I says they have 1 week left to make Rhea versus Charlotte Hell in a Cell match. They do. Also the rest of tonight, so technically 2. And Jacob says Cedric didn't lose his voice. Not yet. Give it time. Jeff Hardy just literally beating the crap out of him right now. Like literally just beating the crap out of him right now. They should give this match a little bit of time. I'd imagine it'll get maybe 6 to 8 minutes. That'll give him time for another commercial break and then warm up to the second hour draw segment. Lovely drop kick. Jeff Hardy just got caught in the face a little bit. His kickouts, his shoulder always goes up and then back down again. It's very confusing. I didn't catch him. That's better. Matt says, I think SummerSlam will feel more like WrestleMania than WrestleMania this year. Probably, yeah. I think that's why they're doing the big reset at SummerSlam instead of WrestleMania this year. And just following up with changes and a draft and hopefully the end of all these goddamn rematches, because a lot of these feuds are still the same feuds we had at WrestleMania. We've still got Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. We've still got Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. We need something refreshing. We need something changing. We've still got Cesaro, Seth Rollins. It's a lot of the same stuff, and we need a reshake. We need a shuffle. We need things to change. AJ really wants Charlotte to win the title. I don't see it happening, unfortunately for you. I do not see that happening. And Corey is here saying, hey guys, welcome, Corey. Glad to see it. Glad to see it. Corey says, I see you're back to doing this back on YouTube. Not long term. We are doing a one-time only show on YouTube as well. And anybody who enjoys this show on YouTube can, of course, follow over on Twitch, where we are currently looking for 3 more followers. Just 3 more followers to reach our target of 200. And of course, given that we are doing daily video uploads on YouTube, I do hope that people are looking at this YouTube show as an opportunity to subscribe and help us grow. There's quite a few people who've joined in. And of course, if you haven't already, you are, of course, very welcome to click subscribe. Corey has redeemed a 24/7 championship win, which means I have to un-VIP Megan. Hate to do it, but Corey has absolutely won the right to take that championship away from you. Corey MLB is our 24/7 champion, but he has been usurped. Corey, you have lost that championship immediately. And I have to un-VIP you because Noob & Co. sneaking in here and making big changes. Co. Unable to add VIP. I don't know why. I've done something wrong there on your name, Noob. Let me try again. Oh. Actually didn't get there in time because Ed Fries has redeemed 24/7 championship win and I can't VIP him. Can't VIP him. So now we have to go with no VIPs. But Noob, you had a one-time championship reign there before Ed stole the opportunity from you. But yes, Corey, I'm doing this on YouTube for one night only because I can, because so many people said that they were going to stop covering Raw. Here I am. Here I am. At a previous point, yes, I did, Corey. However, Ed has made it very clear he's dumping the championship in the bin. How dare he? How dare he? Matt, I'm not entirely sure what you mean here. Can you clarify a little bit? It says, who does Rhea face at SummerSlam? Hopefully, Shayna Baszler beats the ever-living shit out of Alexa Bliss, and it ends up being Rhea versus Shayna. But we'll see what happens. You'll see what happens. Megan boos Corey and his championship win. Enjoys the fact that usurped. Noob enjoying the fact that he won the championship. And Ed says, I take the belt and pull a Medusa. Indeed, he does. Jermaine says, I understand Charlotte versus Rhea inside Hell in a Cell would be the pick. The problem is the storyline that calls for Hell in a Cell is Bianca versus Bayley. Not sure I agree there. Not sure I agree. But it is still a possibility. I think there is more long-term heat between Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. And I think because it's Charlotte, she's more likely to get her way there. Matt says, I think the idea of a draft after SummerSlam is better instead of after Mania or in October. Personally, I disagree. I like a change after WrestleMania because WrestleMania historically is when they make the changes and when they refresh what's going on, and we have the end of the season, as it were. Jeff Hardy, that's a swanton. Is he going to beat Cedric? He beat Cedric. Are they starting the Jeff Hardy rebuild? Something's wrong with Jeff's ear. Surprised. Surprised to see Cedric lose. I think Hardy lost his ear piercing. Now he's just got the gap. His gauge, I think they're called. Yeah, I think that's very telling about the future of Cedric Alexander. That's all I can really say there. AJ says, I'd like Bianca versus Bayley, a hair versus hair match. That sounds better for me. It has been suggested. Rumors, the rumor mill has suggested that in the past. So it could happen. Corey says they put the previews up right after you got off. Fair enough, but that was only 2 hours before the show. It's not really that much of a preview. That says so much for that Cedric push. Get what you're saying. And Jermaine says, wow, Jeff Hardy wins. Surprise to me as well. Surprise to me as well. J-Dub's happy with it. Pleasantly happy. Charlotte and Rhea Ripley doing that usual. No, I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss. Fair, Matt. Maybe Jeff has finally signed a contract. Maybe it's finally happened. Who can tell? Corey says, I'm sure you've been seeing the work from home live wrestling lately. There's some cool people over there. I have no idea what that is, Corey. Genuinely not a clue. Would you be able to tell us more? Nikki Cross is making her entrance, which means this is not going to be the main event. So, what the hell is the main event? Is it Kofi versus Riddle? We may see a new side of Kofi, so that might be ideal for it. That's the only other match we're aware of, right? Kofi versus Riddle? Right, got it. Corey says, love wrestling CA. Ed also clarifies, means love wrestling. Yes, I've definitely been seeing Love Wrestling. They are doing some very, very good stuff, and they have a really, really good crowd. Thank you, Ed, for clarifying that for me. Have a really, really good crowd. So I'm a little bit jealous, to be honest. A little bit jealous, but at the same time, I'm very happy with what we're doing on Twitch because so far we are maintaining a moderate lead of followers over them, which, considering how well they're doing, shows how well we are doing over there as well. So I'm quite happy with that. And that's before we even factor in things like the Discord and the like, and the fact that we're getting very good results on YouTube videos. There's a lot to factor in. There's a lot to factor in. I'm going to retweet my tweet about this here YouTube channel and the show that we are putting on tonight, because why not? While they are doing a Hell in a Cell promo. Okay, Matt's saying it's tonight, so get up, 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 up. There we go. Work it out, Tom. Work it out. It's all backwards. Also, it's not worked out, is it? I'm terrible at this. Terrible at this. Yes, Ed, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. But thank you for checking in. Corey says, Spencer might let me be on the trivia show at the end of the month. by all means, if you get the chance, jump in, represent Corey, represent your own channel, and of course, represent us, because we already have a trivia winner here in the channel. We have Mr. Ed Fries, who won their quiz Plex with a damn fine score. So, by all means, you go in there, you represent yourself, you represent all of us. You be the second winner from this channel and the first winner from your channel. Make it happen, man. Make it happen. AJ's just hoping that Charlotte kicks Rhea's ass. There's definitely going to be some sort of altercation between the two of them. And this isn't clickable on here, but the Love Wrestling CA, our friends over there, Spencer and an incredible crew, are raising money for the Trevor Project, I should say there. And they are doing extremely well at that. All bits, all donations are going to the Trevor Project. So if you are interested in helping out over there, please do catch one of their shows and take the opportunity to do so. As you know, we did a lot of raids to Love Wrestling CA. We will be doing more in the future. We will definitely be doing more in the future. But when it comes to what they're doing right now, that lasts until the end of the month. And they're doing great stuff. I really enjoyed the talk that Spencer and Josh Robinson had about identity, about him coming to terms and coming out. It's great stuff. So if you have an opportunity and you would like to give, please do give to them. Jada says, Alistair Black is playing COD on Twitch right now. Classic. Is he, pardon me, does he have his own Twitch yet? Or is he working on Tia Trinidad's? To be fair, at the moment, that's basically their income. So it makes sense that he helps out. Why not? Matt says, I think Alexa Bliss and her spooky bullshit will main event Raw because it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time, but it's been a long time since. A long time since. Corey says, may I post something that we are doing as a group on my channel? If you want to pass the link on to Ed, you can talk about things that you're doing on your channel. You are more than welcome to promote your channel in here, Corey. But if there's any links involved, pass them on to Ed and he will post them for you. Yeah, Jada says the best part of his username on COD is Alistair Black 777. He will not get out of that one. Jada, I'm just gonna clarify your phrasing at the moment. He's using her channel. Yes. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. He's on tiers, says Michael. Yeah. Makes sense. If they can turn that into like a family channel, as it were, they'll turn it into an even stronger earner. An even stronger earner. And Matthew's saying, Alistair Black, don't you mean Tommy End? No. At this point, I do not. He's still Alistair Black on most things. At least for now. I'm sure the big change is coming and he'll change that. But for now, he still goes by Alistair Black on pretty much everything. Asuka has now had her entrance. Our second hour draw segment does feature Charlotte Flair as usual, but it's also featuring Rhea Ripley. They are using the women's champion and the champions in the draw segments more and more often recently. It's very telling about the drawing power of the women themselves, which is something else I actually want to tweet. Why are so many people on Twitter hating this? I honestly don't think this is about Raw at all. And now Charlotte making her entrance. Shame up. I've tweeted a couple of times. There's some really good stuff on this show. There's also some stuff that's not very impressive, typical Raw, but this is a considerable improvement from last week. Considerable improvement from where I'm sitting. Would anyone say this is worse than last week? Just purely compared to last week. Better, worse, about the same. What do you reckon? Thank you, Ed. Ed is saying, and I want to read this out. Remember, everyone, this Sunday, we have an NXT TakeOver in your house watch along. I will be watching live with our very own Ed Fries. We will be right here on Twitch and YouTube, and you can watch us on either one. Please do follow on Twitch. That is where we are putting most of our work at the moment, but also subscribe to YouTube as well. So we will be hosting our NXT TakeOver in your house watch along this Sunday, which will start about a half hour before the show starts. We'll be doing a half-hour pre-show, basically. Bailey thinks it's better than last week. J-Dub agrees that it's better. Matt doesn't answer that question. Says, I think Rhea would be more badass on the main roster if she talked less. Disagree. I like what she does. I like Rhea Ripley just completely, to be honest. I think she does everything very, very well. We are firmly in the final hour of Monday Night Raw now. Firmly in the final hour. I'm going to keep hydrating. That's good shit. Charlotte Flair starts the match. One of these teams is wearing a lot of color. One of these teams is not wearing a lot of color at all. Really shows how diverse Asuka is, even just in her presentation. It's a lot more colorful. Nikki Cross is starting on the opposition team. Charlotte is inviting Rhea Ripley in for some reason. 8 ounces 8 times a day. Yeah, I saw that, Ed. I saw that. And then, just like that, I won't have to have quote tweet arguments on Twitter. Yeah, because people quote tweet me, I don't quote tweet back, and then people start making shit up. If you don't quote tweet back, you know what happens? People think that whatever everyone else is saying about you is true. It's bullshit. You have to defend yourself. We have Asuka and Rhea Ripley in ring. These two should be building some considerable chemistry now. If this was GM mode on SmackDown versus Raw, we'd be looking at 4 5-star matches now because their rivalry would be 2 thumbs up, at least for a little bit. Now says Insurrection 2003 from Newcastle was this day 18 years ago. Thought that would be a cool fact. It's a fairly cool fact. It is. Ed adds a link from Corey. Says here's a link for. I imagine that's raising money for our own Corey MLB, raising money for a local children's hospital. Fantastic, Corey. This may take up a lot of my page. It does indeed, but I'm going to read it. We are trying to tell Nate. I don't know who Nate is. As much money as we can to ask the group on our whole entire page. We're trying to donate 3,000 over here on my channel. Trying to get 500 if we edit. If we get too close to August, going to change it to 1 or 2,000. If we get the whole entire thing, may try to do something cool as a group for you guys. Are trying to donate as much money as you can. The children's hospitals worldwide in the United States. Made a lot of you guys want to donate. You guys don't have to. Given my current situation, Corey, I'm going to be entirely honest. I'm not going to be able to. But anyone who can, if you would like to, by all means, do so. I am going to be starting charity streams myself at some point. But at the moment, it is definitely tonight, Kofi Kingston versus Riddle. But at the moment, I'm just not in a situation where I'm able to do that, unfortunately. It says, I can attest to the great work done by Extra Life as I work with them myself as well. Interesting, Ed. Interesting. Matt says, oh no, they actually said it. I don't think this team will be able to coexist. It's standard booking. It's very standard. Pardon me. Jermaine says, when the draft happens, I can see Bailey, Carmella, Bianca, Street Profits, and Seth Rollins move to Raw. Asuka, Naomi, New Day, and Alexa Bliss on Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke go to SmackDown. Bailey is long overdue a trade. Long overdue. The rest of them, not sure. Naomi, I could see moving across to work with Jimmy and Jay, and of course, Roman. Alexa Bliss, I don't think she'll be going off Raw. And Charlotte looks like she's about to start attacking. No worries, Corey. Says, I'm ready to listen to you guys on Sunday. Should be a good pay-per-view. What do you think will happen in the 4-way? Do you mean the 5-way main event? Is that what you are discussing? Or is there a 4-way that I'm not particularly aware of? I don't really watch much NXT. There will be matches I don't know about. So there may be a 4-way that I'm not aware of. That's actually a fair point, Matt. We may be seeing Nikki and Asuka be an actual tag team going forwards. They do need tag teams. You're absolutely right. Yeah, the 5-way. I don't want to go into too much detail, to be honest, Corey, because I'll keep most of it for the pre-show that myself and Ed are going to do. But what I will say is I expect that it's going to be very difficult to predict a winner there because so many of them could be called up in the next few weeks. Could be called up. It's an awkward one. It's a very difficult situation to be in. Yeah, absolutely fair, Matt. It does. It keeps Nikki Cross on TV. It'll be a use for her, which is an upgrade. So even though, like earlier, I think it was you who was saying about, remember when Nikki Cross and Asuka had that whole feud? Well, it's working out now that they have something to work with. Matt says, I don't know if Cole wants to give up his Twitch if he goes to the main roster. Possibly he doesn't, but that doesn't mean that he's not going to go to the main roster. Also doesn't mean that other people aren't going to go to the main roster. There are 5 people. Several of them could still be called up. I know there's interest in multiple members of the former Undisputed era. What I am actually going to do right now, is I'm just going to pop to the bathroom just for a moment. I will be back very, very shortly. Please don't go anywhere. On Twitch, we're just going to have a commercial break for 60 seconds. And I'm going to pop to the bathroom and be right back. So I'll see you all shortly. And I am back in time for the match to continue. Rhea Ripley very nearly falling over with Nikki Cross on her shoulders. Let's catch up with the chat, shall we? Corey saying also excited for the NXT Women's Title match on this week's In Your House, only a week away. And Ed says, indeed, just remember there's no watch party for tomorrow. Lots of potential questions for Sunday's pre-show. My elevation might be the top one for you, but I literally look at mine and Raw's right there. You've got to remember it's trending for you, so slightly different for the vast majority. Lots of people chatting. Corey says an ad did not pop up. Corey, are you a I clicked the button. Not a subscriber. I definitely clicked the button. So maybe it just didn't do it for you. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you. It also depends when you came in, because you won't see an ad if you've seen one like 30 minutes ago. So if you joined and then got the intro ad, then you won't have seen one there. Heard the ad but did not see it. Interesting, Bailey. Interesting. So basically, I don't know what happened. Maybe the ads just don't work anymore. Maybe there's just something weird going on. Who can tell? Who can tell? Well, thanks for letting me know. I'll look into it a little bit. Nikki Cross is building to the hot tag. Where he's just walking around with Nikki Cross up in the air. That's pretty cool. She waved at Charlotte. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was just the right amount of ego. Just the right amount. And we're swapping back again. I get that they're doing a slow build, but this is just annoying. The match is very slow paced because of it. Tries an enziguri. Charlotte just ducks under, goes for Asuka, doesn't hit her. They play that spot way too many times. Rhea Ripley moved into position to get kicked by Nikki Cross. Nikki went for the pin. Charlotte running into things at this point is getting kind of embarrassing. Bulldog, she's right in the corner, tags in Asuka. Shining Wizard, kind of. They never call it a Shining Wizard, they just call it a kick. Corey, not to worry. You're part of the family we have here. We've got your back. Like I said, there's conversations myself and Ed have had recently where it's like, yeah, we are a strange, diverse bunch, but we're a little family here. It says, so glad some of my outsider friends and some of my viewers gave you a follow and started lurking. I'm sure you appreciate it a lot. I do appreciate it a lot. I very much do. I remember the raise you've given and the host and the effort you've made, Corey. I really do appreciate it. You've really helped me to grow here and to get started. And as time goes on, as we grow, hopefully that will be a favor I can repay. And Matt says, if Cross wins here, does she get a title match? Nope, she does not. Absolutely not. Welcome, Razul, who says, I hope Drew and Lashley's feud ends at Hell in a Cell. Me too. I'm really sick of the feud. But I do believe Bobby Lashley is going to win, and that will be the end of Drew McIntyre's attempts at winning a championship from him. I do think it's going to be the end of it. Matt says, I want to know what Viking Raiders did to get a title match besides winning a Battle Royal. No, they won the Battle Royal. That's what they did. That was the opportunity. That's what they did. It's all they needed to do. Oh, it's breaking down. Rhea Ripley is throwing potatoes. The referees just stood there like, what the fuck are you doing? Well, Charlotte wins that mini battle. Nikki Cross covering. Corey, I think it's overdue. I think we desperately needed a draft. We have done for a while. Shake up a draft, whatever it's going to be. I'm just glad it's finally happening. Nikki Cross and Asuka have defeated Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. Tell you who's not going to win the streak, Rhea Ripley. If anything, they're bringing Rhea Ripley way down to earth. She doesn't look like Charlotte's equal. She doesn't look like she's even in Charlotte's league. She just doesn't look like she belongs. So we have 45 minutes left. Alexa Bliss looks like she's up next. Logically, we just have this and the match between Kofi and Riddle now. I hate this. Jermaine says, I love how Nikki has been winning the past few weeks. Every one of them has been extremely tainted victories. Extremely tainted victories. I can't sit here and call any of them wins, but we are where we are. Technically, she goes down as a winner, not the winger. That's a different thing. As the winner. Matt says Ripley does not feel like the same Ripley that beat Shayna Baszler. She's not. She's not. It was a long time ago that happened. And it says in Ripley's defense, Charlotte's league is so incredibly high. Very true. Very true. But you have to elevate yourself to that position. You have to find a way to get there. You just have to find a way to get there. Otherwise, what's the point in even trying? You know, why would you keep chasing something if you can't even, if you're not going to try and get to that level, then there's no real point having the match. It will end up being like the Humberto Carrillo versus Sheamus matches. We all knew Carrillo was never anywhere close to Sheamus's level. We all knew that. It was like Brock versus Rey Mysterio. Doesn't matter how good Rey Mysterio is, he's never going to beat Brock. And that's the feeling you get like this. Bailey says the 4 horsewomen are still at the top level and no one's been pushed to that level. Disagree slightly. Just slightly. I believe with the amount of championships Alexa Bliss has won, she has been pushed to that level. And I also think Ronda Rousey was pushed to that level by far in her year working with the company. Razul says Nikki Cross's gimmick is just like a 5-year-old kid that came to the fun fair. I wouldn't say 5-year-old kid. She's certainly hyper, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Corey says, you think Brock Lesnar is ready to come back since they're going to have fans back in a few weeks? Negotiations are ongoing, I'm sure. I know a lot of people got excited seeing his face on the Raw roster on the WWE.com. Don't know if he was ever taken off the Raw roster on WWE.com is the thing. Yeah, Matt, I know that, but it said that after I said it's probably next. That's the thing. There is a delay on this. So I'll be basically seeing what I'm seeing and saying what I'm seeing about it. But simple reality is that can change afterwards, and I don't know that. Oh, nope, I've got the wrong thing there. Michael says Alexa's been pushed more than 3 of the 4 horsewomen. Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Lauren Hutton's come in with a very, very strong, very, very clear Raw is trash. Raw last week was utterly terrible, very boring. Raw this week has had ups and downs. The downs are bad, but the ups are pretty good. What's been going on? Like you've raised a point there. You've asked a question. What do you think of RK Bro? RK Bro has been very entertaining. I think the first half hour focused on the tag team was very fun. I really enjoyed that first half hour. I've really enjoyed the match with Ricochet and Humberto Carrillo. There's quite a lot of different sections of Raw, which I've actually quite enjoyed. But we also still have what's going on with Alexa Bliss and the like, and it just confuses me. Megan says, Hyper Nikki is good when there's a bit of threat, menace behind it. That's not there for me right now. She's just happy to be involved, and I don't like that. She's not really competing for anything. She's not challenging for championships. She's just enjoying being there. Razul says, do you think that Finn Balor going to go to the main roster when there are live fans? I think that's very likely that he will be returning in the draft. Not just when there are fans, but in the draft. Conrad's here, so let me click it. Saying, Tom, hey Conrad, how you doing, mate? Glad to see you. Corey says, I think Becky Lynch might be ready to come back. Saw her training on Instagram the other day. Becky Lynch is an incredible troll. A lot of people thought she was ready to come back when she posted a picture of the curtain at the Royal Rumble. She didn't come back. A lot of people thought she was coming back at WrestleMania. She didn't come back. I will wait until she comes back to realize that she's come back. Matt says the crowd will eat up RK Bro. I agree. It'll be a lot like Team Hell No, the odd couple that people just get behind. Lauren says, do you think Orton will turn on Riddle soon? I don't. I think Riddle will turn heel, much like Sheamus and Cesaro were originally. Sheamus as heel and Cesaro as face, and then Cesaro turned Sheamus, essentially. Ed, given the shout-out that we were looking for here, spotty comment. Everyone make sure you check out EPW Show on YouTube. They have fantastic comment. They do. I've been on that channel myself, and I know they do fantastic work. Conrad is suggesting that RK Bro should be saved for SummerSlam. That seems likely at this point. Lauren's new to the channel. Welcome, Lauren. Says, how are you? I'm pretty good, thank you. Welcome to the channel. We do daily news analysis and prediction videos here. We don't often do the live watch parties. Our watch parties are usually done on Twitch. The link to that is down at the bottom, but today we are doing it on YouTube just to see what sort of response we get. I completely forgot we were getting Drew Gulak versus Mansoor. This should be fun. I'll suggest Bray may be getting repackaged. To be fair, Bray seems to be repackaged every single time we see him. Like every single time something different happens. And it's hard to keep up. It's hard to keep up. Oof. Megan says, I can see RK Bro getting a massive pop. I can definitely see that. Lauren says, did you hear if Ciampa and Gargano were going to the main roster, they will retire? I've heard that from Ciampa. I haven't heard that personally from Gargano, and I think they will stand by that. I really do. Is Rousey retired? No. She apparently, I keep getting told that she had a 3-year contract. I personally reported months before she actually finished up with the company that she was only going to wrestle for 12 months, and I got a lot of shit for that. It's a lot of shit. Trying to keep up. There's a lot happening right now. Dream team for WWE, I agree. It really helps Matt Riddle more than anyone. Matt Riddle is the one getting the push, but it still works out. And as Matt said, Orton is having fun for once with this RK Bro stuff. Orton's been giving back a lot recently, including a lot of different feuds that he's been working on. Do you think Orton is a tweener? I wouldn't say tweener. I think he's too big for face or heel. I think he's simply too big for the face-heel dynamic now. Orton is just bloody good from where I'm sitting. How long have I been a fan of WWE? I started watching WWE back in 1998. 1998 in August, I came downstairs and saw a 4-corner tag match, which was won by Kane and Mankind. I've basically been there since. Razul is suggesting John Cena versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. That is one of the favored options for the main event there. Laurel says, love your accent. Thank you. I am British, and apparently people love that. Apparently people love that. Jermaine says, I have a feeling that Rhea and Bianca will be losing their titles soon. After SummerSlam, I can see Sasha as SmackDown Women's Champ and Charlotte as the Raw Women's Champ. I think Rhea's going to come out of the feud with Charlotte, keeping hold of it, but I do think Sasha's going to reclaim the championship at SummerSlam. Mansoor has pinned Drew Gulak after a little bit of rolling about. Decent match, not really long enough to become particularly strong, but we got what we got. Lauren is wishing that the WWE will repackage Ali. Honestly, I'm just wishing that they'll keep him as he is, because I really like what they're doing with him right now. And Ed Fries has redeemed a theme change. For anyone who does not follow on Twitch, we have theme changes which essentially change my outfit. So we've got an outfit change coming. We're going to go from fancy pants to pirate. So bear with me just one moment. I get to take off the jacket. Ow, ow. Okay, my arm is genuinely in pain now. Slight pain, but pain nonetheless. I get to take off the tie. I get to miss the promo with Riddle and Orton, but it's Riddle and Orton. I can imagine what it is. And we're going to go pirate mode. That means a hat. I need to put my headphones back in now. And that means a sword, which I usually hold in my left hand, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to have to do that because I need to click the things. And we have a sword. And I'm a pirate. Welcome to pirate mode. Thank you, Ed. It says, I can't wait for heel Mansoor with Ali at his side. Wouldn't be against that. That could be a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun. Lauren says, do you think it's time for Triple H to take over? I do not. I don't think Triple H wants to take over the main roster, because in order to be successful on the main roster, you need a very different set of skills than what you need on the NXT side. Very different. It's a completely different audience, and I don't think Triple H particularly wants it. Noob says Mansoor is very awesome. Not just awesome, but very awesome. Noob going further. Lauren says, no, I mean, what is your dream team for WWE? Dream team as in tag team? I'm not sure what you mean in there, Lauren. Would you be able to clarify a little bit? Orton's neither a face or heel. That's what I'm seeing, yes. He simply, face or heel is a concept designed to get people over. I think he's too over for face or heel. Fan since 04, almost 30 now. I'm 32, so around the same age in that regard. Love the brace. Oh. Russell says, I heard that Vince is going to sell WWE eBay soon. For anyone who does think WWE is going to be selling, please do check out my YouTube, where today I uploaded a video about Vince potentially selling, but he's not. Laura says, you think when fans come back, you think it'll be better? No, I think it'll be exactly the same. I think it'll be exactly the same, genuinely. It's just, it is what it is. I think it'll be exactly the same. SmackDown's still a good show, fans or no. Yeah. Noob says, women's tag match is good, but it's full of argument between Charlotte and Rhea. Asuka and Nikki Cross is very fun to watch tonight. Asuka and Nikki Cross were an afterthought. Don't really like it, but it is what it is. Megan says, Orton's entire dad mode with Riddle in it is amusing. I think I said earlier during the tag match, he's basically just Riddle's dad, and I'm not against it. I'm not against it. Jermaine says, look at the snake on Matt Riddle's shirt. The snake looks high as hell. Doesn't everything when it's next to Matt Riddle? Because, transposing is something that happens. Thank you, Corey. Corey wants me to shout out my own stuff. Everybody that is watching on YouTube that does not follow Tom on Twitch streams every Monday afternoon at 5 Eastern time. That's in America, around 8 for Raw Watch Along. That is 10 p.m. UK time for the news show, and then 1 a.m. for the watch alongs. And then I stream gaming stuff on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Football Manager on Tuesdays. Final Fantasy VII Remake at the moment on Thursdays. That is 3 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. British Standard Time. If you're not interested in the gaming stuff, you get notifications every time I go live on Twitch telling you what I will be covering. So if you're just there for wrestling, you can skip that entirely. And yes, this Sunday we'll be doing an NXT TakeOver watch along. Pardon me. On Twitch, but also here on YouTube as well, joined by Ed Fries. Conrad says, any idea on WWE looking at a possible sell? Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to link to my video about that so that you can check it out. I think it's about like a 5-minute video. It is a 4-minute and 19-second video in which I cover that exact topic using a number of different sources of information. So if you're interested in more about the idea of WWE selling, check out the link down below. Lauren says, do you think when Cena returns, it'll be his final run? Not just yet. I think when he returns, he'll have a couple more runs in him, but they'll get rarer and rarer, and I definitely don't see him winning a WWE or Universal Championship. Conrad said, even years down the line, a lot can change, but for the moment, I think Triple H simply isn't that interested, and Vince McMahon doesn't see a clear path. He doesn't see a clear path of who will be next. That's the impression that I've been getting. Jermaine says, RK Bro is starting to grow on me. Randy Orton is like a big brother to Matt Riddle. It's hilarious. I'm still getting dad personally, but we are where we are. Lauren says, Vince McMahon needs to go. He's losing his touch. Vince McMahon has been less involved than ever recently when it comes to WWE programming. Raw's still bad, but it has been involved heavily in SmackDown over the past few months, and that's been good. So it always confuses me that Raw can be so bad and SmackDown so good. Vince McMahon's responsible for the WWE. He takes credit for it, and that gives him certain leeway. But he hasn't delivered many great storylines recently. So it's a confusing one. Tag team, yes. Well, tag teams I've always enjoyed. Kane and X-Pac was my go-to. Kane and X-Pac was always it for me. Lauren says, why do you think the ratings went down? Ratings are constantly going down. Most of them track consistently, but there's a lot of reasons for it. I can't really go into just at the moment because there is a lot of questions that I want to be catching up on. AG says, what do you think about the women's tag division on the main roster? Only thing I can really say about that is what women's tag division on the main roster? There isn't one. They keep releasing them. They have disproportionately released women to men. It's a bit of a problem. And they've just basically crushed it. You might as well get rid of the women's tag championships on the main roster at this point. Lauren believes RK-Bro will not last long. Disagree. I reckon it'll last at least till the end of the year. Who do you think will break Flair's record? Flair. I think Charlotte Flair will break Ric Flair's record of championship reigns. Oh, hello, Josh Robinson. You all right, mate? How you doing? We were talking about you earlier and the chat that you had with Spencer Love. We were singing the praises and sharing the links, and just Ed's already on the shout out. Good man. For anyone watching on Twitch who doesn't already follow Josh Robinson, please remember that you certainly can do so. He streams a lot of WWE games, which you can check out, and he's absolutely fucking hilarious. Also, if you're a Heidenreich fan, Josh is a big Heidenreich fan, aren't you, Josh? Such a big Heidenreich fan. Matt says, Alexander Wolf confirmed all the ideas he, Eric Young, and Dane pushed for sanity were given to Retribution. I don't know how many of that is true. Alexander Wolf went on a lot of different things and said a lot of different things. But I'm sure we'll hear more about that in the near future. I'd like to talk to people on Retribution about that because he's a first-hand source. So if Alexander Wolf says that, I want to believe him. I think Eric Young will be the next one who's asked those questions, and we'll see what happens. CM Punk in the past has said similar things. A lot of people who've left have said similar things where they have ideas and they just get shared. Lauren says Cena should have one last heel run. Last heel run? I think it's been a long time since Cena's been a heel. A long time. Any plans for the draft? I will be covering it on Twitch. I have no idea who's going to be drafted. No idea whatsoever. We only heard about a draft today. It's hard to work this stuff out. Oh. Ed says, and I'd like to make sure to read this out, check out Josh on YouTube as well for his own content. And yesterday/today, Josh dropped his latest Legacy of series, where this episode was about Beth Phoenix. If you have joined my Discord, you may spot in the promotion section Josh posting some of his work there. And you can, in fact, join Josh's Discord if you follow over on Twitch when he streams as well. So there's a lot of good stuff going on over there. Josh, will you be on Love Wrestling after this? Will you be one of the guests there? Lauren says, who do you think will be released next? I don't want to speculate on future releases. There's quite a few people who are still on moderately high money who could be looking at a potential release, but I don't really want to speculate as to who might go next. He's also asking, most shocking release in the last year? Samoa Joe for sure, Braun Strowman, Aleister Black, Mickie James for me. That was a huge shock to me. She has so much to offer to the women's division and just completely cut out from under her. She never really got a chance. The biggest moment for Mickie James was before she signed the contract when she was wrestling against Asuka at NXT. Randy Orton is making his entrance during the match. Apparently Matt Riddle is getting distracted by Xavier Woods, so Randy Orton is coming out to even the odds. Jermaine says, I like how the New Day is wearing the white and green Power Rangers costumes. It's awesome. It really is. Their costuming is always fantastic. Kofi Kingston just attacked Randy Orton. Completely uncalled for. What a heel. What a heel. Matt believes that Drew McIntyre should go to SmackDown. This is something that's passed around a lot. Who would you trade who's at the same level of Drew McIntyre to Raw? Who would you trade? Davey Woods jumped too early. Got the suplex onto the table. This, I would not be too surprised if we have a commercial break and this comes back to the tag match, let's be honest. Yeah, I think that's pretty definitely going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it? Yeah, we're going to come back in a tag match. Lauren says, you don't think Orton or Cena will get another title? I think Orton might get one, but I think Charlotte Flair will beat Ric Flair's record. I post some of my stuff that I might work on this week for making a video on Discord. Yeah, the promotion section in Discord, Corey, you're welcome to post whatever you want in there. You're welcome to promote yourself. The way I see it, as long as it's not like the same person, 15 messages in a row, then you are welcome to do whatever the hell you want. And at the moment, we've got 5 or 6. So that's fantastic. Promote anything you want in there as regards to your career and developing your stuff. I know that Josh has taken to doing that, and I'm very, very glad that he has. Josh is not covering Love Wrestling today. Not covering the show for Love Wrestling today. But, Josh, I don't know your streaming schedule, but if you are streaming today, let us know. I know you're in Australia, so like it makes it a bit difficult for me in my sleeping pattern and my time zone to really catch as many of your streams as I would like. Like, I would like to know what's happening with Heidenreich. Is he a champion right now? Is he a champion? And how many championships has he got? Has he got all the championships? And if not, why not, basically, is what I'm saying. Oh, missed one. Lauren says, Riddle is face but acts heel in the ring. I think Riddle is teasing the heel turn to basically match up with where Orton kind of is. But then at the same time, Styles and Amos definitely played back towards heel. I don't know if that's just for the Viking Raiders and trying to help them go, but it definitely seemed like they were going back heel. And Lauren says, New Day acting like heels here. New Day have phases where they do act like heels, but as it's New Day, they get away with it. Particularly near the end of their record-setting tag team championship run, they were playing full heel by the end of that. Corey suggests swapping McIntyre for Daniel Bryan, but Daniel Bryan is not currently at SmackDown. As if Roman wasn't a champion, I'd say Roman. I don't think Drew McIntyre is on Roman Reigns' level. I don't think anyone in the WWE is on Roman Reigns' level, though. So I think if you sent over Charlotte, Bobby, and Drew, then you might be getting close. That's how good Roman Reigns has been for the last year. Lauren's dream tag team is Cena and Orton. It's a brave option. A brave option. Bailey says, WWE is struggling because of sheer quantity. 8 hours of new content, 52 weeks a year across the brands is a huge challenge. Much less content needed in the Attitude Era. You are absolutely right there. In the Attitude Era, for most of it, they only had to write 2 hours of programming per week. That was it. That was absolutely it. Lauren says, SmackDown era in 2016-17 was everything. I agree. The SmackDown 6, the women's division there, as well as AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose at the top. There was such good stuff coming out of it. This is, of course, when Wyatt and Randy Orton had their feud as well. Corey says, thanks for the raid last week. You are very welcome, Corey. There will be more in future. You know, I like to spread my raid out a little bit, or at least as much as I can. But the moment will come where there is more, I'm sure. We've been looking at a few new people to raid recently because I think most of us kind of follow the ones that we've already raided. So we will see what options come up for the raids and the like. Lauren said, don't you hate the edited reactions? I don't hate them, but I don't like them. It's that I'm indifferent to them, you know? Corey suggesting Seth Rollins. That's a good shout. Seth for Drew McIntyre could be a good idea. And I think that will get Seth away from Roman, which might help a little bit. And says, weren't Cena and Orton tag champs during the Ruthless Aggression era? Probably. Probably in the middle of a championship feud as well, yeah. Probably. Matt says, quality over quantity is what WWE needs, in my opinion. You are not alone. You are not alone. And Lauren says, Charlotte shouldn't break it, to be honest. She's way overpushed. A lot of people are of that opinion, but I still think that's what's going to happen. She's too close already, and she's barely started her career. It's one of those. That definitely didn't go right. Hurricane Rana, Riddle crumbled a little bit. Ideally shouldn't have. Jermaine is suggesting Seth Rollins to Raw for Drew McIntyre because WWE likes to keep their couples together. Would keep Seth and Becky on Raw. You sure Becky's not coming to... Pardon me. You sure Becky's not coming to SmackDown? Maybe that's why the draft is when it is. Who knows? Lauren is getting very excited about Randy Orton. And you should. Randy Orton is really delivering. The last 2 years or so, Randy Orton has been the best thing on WWE TV. I was asking, are you in London or the USA? Neither. I'm in Blackpool. Blackpool, England, which is where William Regal is from. Corey can't wait for July 23rd SmackDown because he's going to July 23rd SmackDown. Make sure to get some recordings for us, mate. Looking forward to it. I want to say, did you just call Kofi a heel? He's actually acting like I didn't call Kofi a heel. Absolutely not. How dare we? How dare we? True, Matt. I was excited to see him as part of SmackDown, but he's a backup to Roman at this point. It's an awkward moment. Yes, Corey, please do so. You never know what you're going to find out at these shows. I still remember running into Undisputed Era back, at the hotel in the NXT UK show. And it says, can't stand New Day, but I like Kofi. I love New Day. Genuinely love New Day. Xavier Woods, easily my favorite, though. Megan says, what about switching Drew and Cesaro? Not a bad shout there either. I think that's about fitting as well. And that would give Cesaro an opportunity against Bobby Lashley. I'd be excited about that match. Lauren says, I'd be shocked if Riddle turns on Orton. I don't think Riddle's going to turn on Orton. I think Riddle is going to turn for Orton, as in he's going to turn heel with Randy Orton. And then the tag team is going to be full heel instead of the unsure that we kind of have now. For anyone who is newly watching the YouTube video, please do remember to click like and click subscribe if you want daily videos, news, in-depth analysis based on sources from the past several months. I tend to compile and put together. And of course, quite a lot of preview content, some interviews as well that you can get from this here YouTube channel. So please do remember to check that one out. Every like is a potential boost to the channel as well. Really helps this video grow, help new people find the show. So if you haven't already clicked like on the YouTube video, please remember to do so. No, Laura, I'm not really surprised they never made them a tag team. I think that they were supposed to be the rivals to end all things, but maybe they did make them a tag team. Who can tell? There's a lot that happens. Matt says, speaking of the draft, I did ask Andrew Zarian of the Matt Men podcast if NXT will be a part of the draft. He told me he should have more info by Thursday. Just an update from Matt there. Orton doesn't even look 41. Yeah, he doesn't, does he? If I still look that good at that age, I'll be very, very grateful. Corey's going to SmackDown after Money in the Bank. Oh, that's going to be a fun one. That is going to be a fun one. Oof. Fair, Matt. Fair. Riddler's only 5 years younger than Orton. Yeah, he came to it a bit older, didn't he? I mean, that's the thing, though. The WWE are hiring older stars, or just in general older people, than they used to. And there's nothing wrong with that. It allows people to go through the indies a bit more. People are maintaining their fitness for later in life, as it were. So it makes perfect sense. It's just natural process. Lauren says Orton's second favorite of all time. I'm guessing your first favorite might just be John Cena. Although let me know if I'm wrong there. Bailey says, who's the oldest active WWE performer? Active? My immediate thought was Ric Flair. He's not active, but I think it would have been Undertaker. I think at this point it might actually be Orton. Kofi Kingston picks up the win over Matt Riddle. Leaves us with 15 minutes left. At least 5 of them will be the commercial break. And then we have 10 minutes for whatever the hell is going to happen between Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler. Matt suggests he'll switch Asuka for Bayley in the draft. That's exactly the switch I would make, to be completely honest. Lauren is saying the turn is coming. Riddle's going heel. It's happening. Matt says Triple H isn't retired. Yes, but he's also not an active member of the roster. He hasn't wrestled, to my knowledge, in over a year. Corey says, meant to say Slammiversary will be the night before Money in the Bank. Busy, busy time. There really is no end of wrestling anymore, is there? Wherever you look, there's more wrestling. Lauren believes New Day is annoying. Personally, I love him. I love him. Lauren says, why are the women always the main event on Raw? They're not. Last week we had Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston. They very rarely, in fact, the main event of Raw. Very rare. MVP's a good shout, Ed. MVP's a very good shout. Massive John Cena's 44. Again, John Cena is not an active member of the roster. He hasn't wrestled for a long time. But Megan, our stat queen, coming to the rescue. R-Truth is 49. I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me 1 second. What did I tell you guys about that doll shot? It's going to be used constantly. MVP is 47. So yeah, R-Truth picking up the win there. So here's a question. Lawrence says WWE needs to merge the rosters. I did say in the earlier news video that WWE is not interested in merging the rosters. They are keeping the brand split. They want the Survivor Series format and everything. Do you think WWE need to merge the rosters? I don't. Slammiversary, yep. Just looked it up. Okay. Shayna Baszler is backstage with Nia Jax, talking Reginald, of course. Disagree with you there, Lauren. People have been hurt by Nia Jax. That is true. But it's been a long time since it's happened. And honestly, with extra training and extra experience, people do get better. I don't like to sit here and say this person or that person should be released. I just don't want to do it. Nia Jax is telling Shayna Baszler to take Alexa Bliss seriously. I am hoping, and it's not going to happen, I am hoping Shayna walks in, beats the ever-living shit out of Alexa Bliss, and that's the end of it. It's not going to happen. Instead, we're going to get like proper spooky shit now. Standard stuff. Okay. Lauren is saying top 5 superstars and I guess that means and divas of all time. Well, just going off like who's active now, who I really enjoy the work of, top 5 of all time. I was always a big Mickie James fan. Always have been. I suspect I always will be. Mickie James for me really drove it home. Huge Becky Lynch fan. Massive Alexa Bliss fan as well. Huge fan of those two. Alexa Bliss's talking is just unrivaled. I'm really enjoying the work of Rhea Ripley. Always have done. I wrote an article for belltobells.com many years ago when Rhea Ripley had just won the NXT UK Women's Championship, in which I said, basically, WWE need to just get out of her way and let her roll. And I stand by that. And finally, I think my final one would be Dakota Kai. Huge Dakota Kai fan. Really enjoyed her work since she was Evie in Japan and never stopped. Matt suggesting women's and tag divisions need to be merged. Disagree. They have plenty of women. They just have them all in NXT where they're hoarding them. Lauren is suggesting Shayna might turn face. I'm fine with that. I'd like that. Megan says Kane, Goldberg, Triple H, and Shayna in their 50s, but not full time. I'm not going to talk crushes, Lauren. I appreciate the question. I'm going to steer clear of that one. That is a cancellation waiting to happen no matter what I say. So I'm just gonna leave that one be. I'm usually pretty open about crushes, but we are where we are. Unless you're talking about Kota Ibushi, obviously. I'm saying, will the real Lily debut? Lauren, I did already answer this. I'm in Blackpool. Neither London nor the USA. I do watch some AEW, yes, but I don't watch enough of it to really be able to judge. So it was Cena. That makes sense. I can really tell what your era is, Lauren. Growing up watching the names you've listed there makes sense. Sorry, guys, I'm still a little bit uncomfortable because of my arm. For those if I haven't already said, I got my first vaccination today, and it's just made my arm really quite annoying. It's not painful, but it's a bit numb, and it's a bit stiff, and I don't know. It's just very difficult to move it around. Matt says Sting is the oldest active wrestler in AEW at 62. 62 is quite a lot. Quite a lot. We'll see how active he is as his career continues, to be fair, in AEW. We'll see how active that is. I naturally have many questions because I don't think he'll be. I think he'll be used sporadically, and I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. People have told me different things, Matt. Some people have told me it'll be gone tomorrow. It'll be gone in a couple of days. It'll be gone in 3 or 4 days. It'll go when it goes. Like I say, it's not. I wouldn't call it pain. It's just annoying. Like, it's just annoying. Jermaine says, "Hey Tom, I meant to ask you, do you believe Sasha and Lex will become a team? They have both hinted at it a few weeks ago on Twitter." No, I do not. I do not see that happening, mostly because they're on separate brands, at least right now. I don't see any reason for it. See, I did, Matt. I felt like after maybe 4 or 5 hours, it started to happen. And it's just got slowly worse. I don't think ice is going to do the job, Corey. I don't think ice is going to make much difference. It's fine. It's fine. It's like I say, it's one of those. Worst comes to worst, I'll take a little painkiller, and that'll be that. I haven't taken a lot of painkillers in my life. That means they're very effective. Lauren also lists her favorite. Divas. Even though nowadays they do go by women, divas is a category, like a subcategory. Like Carmella's a diva. Carmella's 100% a diva, but I wouldn't call Becky Lynch a diva, for example. A commercial break was really fucking long. We have 8 minutes left of WWE Raw. If you've enjoyed this watch party, if you've enjoyed talking to us and asking questions, right here underneath, we watch every Raw and SmackDown live on twitch.tv/Tom Colohue. That explains why the break was so long. They were setting it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link just in the chat. If you would like more shows like this, you can subscribe here on YouTube for the news videos. We will be doing sporadic watch parties, mostly for pay-per-views. And if you want to watch a watch party every Raw, every SmackDown, jump on over to Twitch, follow me there, and you can see us every single week. Megan says, everyone in my family's had the vaccine and a sore arm the day they got it. Then we're really tired the next day after each dose. Get my first on Thursday, so see if it happens to me. I expect to be tired tomorrow, but that's also, to be fair, because I'm up until 4 a.m. I've missed Shayna Baszler's music so much. I'm leaving you up there, Megan, because I know you agree. I've missed her music so much. Lauren says, was pissed that WWE let Mickey go. Fair enough. I don't even know what Tylenol is, to be honest with you, Matt. What's Tylenol? I know, Corey. You'll have a crazy weekend. Shayna Baszler looks like she wants to wreck stuff. So wreck Alexa. Let's do it. Jermaine says, I've always believed Becky's moving to SmackDown after SummerSlam, which is why I believe Bianca and the Street Profits are moving to Raw after SummerSlam. What do you think? Honestly, I don't see either of those happening. Personally, I think Becky will go to SmackDown, but I think Bayley will go to Raw to balance it out. Bayley will go over, and then maybe they'll be moved for Liv Morgan and Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, something like that, to get some more bodies over on SmackDown. Lauren says all the WWE legends going to AEW. Not all of them, but quite a few. Quite a few. Ah, right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't really take pain relievers. I really don't take pain relievers at any point. If I need to, I'll take something for this, but I don't personally see it. I don't need to now. But yeah, I think the last time I had any sort of painkiller, maybe 5 years ago. And even then, it was like 2 paracetamol, and that'll be another 3 or 4 years beforehand. I don't take them. I did pick up on that, Lauren. I did pick up on that. No comment. None of my business. So on that one, none of my business. They broke up. It happens. Just enjoying Shayna getting her moment. Rewatched her entrance at the 2020 Rumble just for fun, then turned it off because she should have won. She should have won. She absolutely should have won. And she was supposed to. It was changed very late in the day. Don't apologize to the doll. Again, what they're doing is creating sound bites. Alexa Bliss has attacked. That's not going to work out. Shane is stepping on the doll. Is this at least going to be like Drop Dead Fred? They put a camera. It's some really bad camera work. I'm sorry. Is this wrestling? And now we'll get the costume change. Or we'll get introduced to Lily. Who knows? Shane is running away. It is late in Blackpool. It's nearly 4 a.m. It's going to end there, isn't it? Oh, this is dumb. Raw was going okay. This is dumb. Thank you, Lauren. We're over at twitch.tv/Tom Colohue. We look forward to seeing you drop in future. Looks like Shane is getting attacked backstage as well. They're doing the intro to the Fiends music. Jesus Christ. You didn't even try and open that door. Winding me up. The doors aren't locked. Well, about to find out, Corey. I hope so, Megan. My hope is, as a result of Hell in a Cell, the entire thing just gets broken. They use it broken for a couple of weeks, and then it's just all fans. This was pre-recorded. I'm good, Lauren. I'm good. I'm not worried. Jesus Christ, Shayna, why are you afraid of a fucking dog? You're Shayna Baszler. It's ridiculous. I prefer heels personally, Lauren. I just find the bad guys have a much more entertaining story. Do not do the Ultimate Warrior thing. Do not do the Ultimate Warrior thing, for fuck's sake. She's got more than one doll. Who gives a fuck? So that nobody's unhappy and wants to leave the company, Lauren, ideally. Doesn't always work that way, but it's essentially what meant that Paige and Alberto Del Rio took their time off because they weren't kept together. So they've just decided, let's just not do it. We'll see you Friday, Lauren. See you on Twitch. Thank you for dropping in. Really appreciate all the questions. We love an active person here. Keeps the chat rolling. Thank you. I hated that. I hated that. Oh, okay. Okay. So let me tell you what we're going to do now. We've watched the entire show. I'm going to have a quick look and see if anyone's online yet for raids. But I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Like, completely honest. I'm going to bed, and I'm going to bed now. Before the arm gets worse, basically. Before the arm gets worse. So, there is no one on really to raid right now. I am going to leave it there. I hope everyone has really enjoyed this watch party. We did it slightly differently this time. We will be back on Friday for our usual watch parties. That's purely on Twitch. Please do tune in tomorrow as well if you're interested in the Football Manager streams. We have traversed quite a difficult period, so I have a lot to tell you guys about Football Manager, including some actual results from Ollie Turner. But we will be having a long Football Manager stream tomorrow because we'll be ending the season tomorrow, and there's maybe 6-8 games to play, so quite a lot going. And Bailey says poor ending. I agree. Matt says Shayna is completely buried at this point. I think at this point we're safe to call it a burial. Nick is here and just says, ugh, I get it. Megan says I was happy when she stomped the doll and then the rest of it happened. Yeah, it's this kind of sucks. And Corey says, thanks a lot, Raw, that we're going to have a nightmare. Jermaine Presley says, Tom, have a good night. Have a good night yourself as well, Jermaine. Thank you for joining us. Our next time on YouTube will be the NXT Watch Along for In Your House, which will be on Sunday. Please join me there. In the meantime, I'm going to end this broadcast and say a very big thank you and a very, pardon me again, say a very big thank you and say good night, everybody. Thank you for your time. And I will see, hopefully, as many of you as possible tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone.